Leave. Only that single word echoed from the bathroom. Luan Hui, in her current state, had no energy left to entangle herself further with Chun Fan. Her heart was entirely devoted to Qin Lang. Despite her myriad of reluctances and profound embarrassment, it was her own choice, and she could only tread this solitary path. There was no other way forward. Fourth senior sister, have you encountered some trouble? If so, let us devise a solution together. Your evasion of our meeting is utterly futile. Please, do not be angry. Let us converse calmly when you emerge. Chun Fan cautiously inquired, for there were matters he was reluctant to acknowledge without face-to-face dialogue. Especially during these tumultuous times, he lacked the fortitude to endure further turmoil. The eldest sister had departed from him, becoming the fiancée of Qin Lang, while the seventh sister had followed suit, aligning herself with him as well. Now, it seemed that the second sister had also been swayed by Luo Qingyu and Ning Qianqian. Presently, the only companion by his side was the fourth sister, who stood as a pillar of support in his heart. Should this solitary bastion crumble, he would be engulfed in darkness. As he pondered this, Chun Fan felt a surge of anger, accompanied by a dull ache in his lower abdomen, reminiscent of the bullet wound from the previous night, which seemed to be reopening. Yet, despite his patient inquiries, the figure in the bathroom, Reincarnation, offered no response. In fact, it appeared that Chun Fan's relentless probing had provoked her ire as she splashed the water in the bathtub, producing a cacophony of jarring sounds. The noise grew increasingly frantic and intense, unsettling Chun Fan further. He dared not entertain other possibilities, nor did he wish to do so. Yet, once the thought took root in his mind, it became inextinguishable. Even in death, he could not reconcile himself to the scenario he envisioned, no matter the cost. He yearned to uncover the truth. Forgive me, fourth sister. There are matters I must address with you in person. I am coming in. Chun Fan gritted his teeth, resolutely gripping the handle, ready to forcefully shatter the lock. Just then, the bathroom door swung open from within. Clad in a white bathrobe, Reincarnation emerged from the bathroom. Thoroughly wrapped, Chun Fan's gaze fixated on the rippling surface of the bathtub and the pristine sink, devoid of any anomalies or impurities. A profound sense of relief washed over him. It was clear that the fourth sister would not allow the dreadful scenarios he had imagined to materialize. As Chun Fan prepared to utter an apology, Reincarnation raised her hand and struck him across the face with a resounding slap. The sound echoed sharply. Chun Fan, how dare you? Knowing I was bathing, you still dared to intrude. Who gave you such audacity to disrespect even a senior sister? Her expression was icy, her beautiful eyes gleaming with palpable fury. Standing tall before him, she grasped the edge of her robe, and had it not been for its cumbersome nature, she would have already delivered a kick to his abdomen. Chun Fan clutched his cheek, gazing at the furious fourth sister before him, too intimidated to utter a word in defense. After all, his actions were indeed rather excessive, and he could only bitterly apologize. Fourth senior sister, please allow me to explain. You have misunderstood me. I harbor no ulterior motives. I am merely concerned about the possibility of you being taken hostage. Taken hostage? Who would dare to take me hostage? Luan Hui scoffed coldly. Are you suggesting that if you ask me to accompany you, I must comply? If I refuse, it implies I'm being held against my will? And now, do you truly believe I'm being held hostage? Or perhaps you wish to check the bathroom to see if there is anyone else inside, any other man, perhaps Qin Lang. Her voice rose with each word, resonating with conviction. She pointed towards the open bathroom door, fixing a scornful gaze upon Chun Fan. If you are doubtful, feel free to go in and see for yourself. To be honest, as she uttered those words, allowing Chun Fan to investigate, Luan Hui's heart raced with unease. Others might be oblivious, but she was not unaware. Qin Lang was indeed in the bathroom, likely relishing the moment. Should Chun Fan enter, he would undoubtedly catch them in the act. She was both furious and engaged in a gamble, wagering that Chun Fan would not dare to step inside. Chun Fan glanced at the bathroom, gritting his teeth, and after much deliberation, he ultimately dismissed the thought of entering, shaking his head vigorously. Fourth senior sister, that is not my intention. I do not care what your intentions are. I do not wish to see you right now. If you wish to leave, that is your prerogative and has nothing to do with me. Whether you stay in Kolan or return to Longhua is entirely your decision. You need not report to me. Likewise, where I choose to go is my own freedom, and you have no authority to interfere. This is your final warning. Should you engage in any further indiscretions, I will not hesitate to eliminate you. Get out. Chun Fan's face contorted with anguish, as if his heart had been cruelly gouged out and seasoned with coarse salt, tormenting him repeatedly. The pain was excruciating, leaving him dizzy. Despite the multitude of words he wished to express, upon meeting the cold, unfamiliar gaze of fourth senior sister, he swallowed them back down. All his resentment ultimately transformed into a sigh, intertwined with an endless hatred for Qin Lang, as he turned and left Luan Hui's room step by step. Huff! Watching Chun Fan depart, Luan Hui exhaled deeply, releasing a breath of frustration. Her once straight posture began to slump as she leaned against the wall outside the bathroom, her graceful figure wrapped in a white bathrobe shifting with the motion. At that moment, a single crystalline droplet cascaded down her thigh and fell onto the tiled floor with a soft plop. Chapter 363. Qin Lang's little classroom commences. Luan Hui awkwardly lifted her foot, intending to wipe it away, but being barefoot, she felt particularly suspicious of the unknown droplet. She could only make her way towards the coffee table to retrieve a cloth. However, at that very moment, a sharp pain surged from an unknown direction, causing her to draw in a sharp breath and clutch her bathrobe tightly. As her legs were pressed together, she lost her balance and stumbled backward. "What's the matter with you?" Qin Lang appeared just in time behind her, his hand wrapping gently around her slender waist, his face adorned with a warm smile. With the activation of his affinity skill, that smile shone like a warm ray of sunlight piercing through the dark, dispelling all shadows. Such a melodramatic scene was certainly not one he would overlook. Struggling to rise from Qin Lang's embrace, she glared at him, seething with indignation. "How dare you ask me what's wrong? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be in this wretched state. Chen Fan is no good, and you're no better. Get out of here. I don't want to see you again." She pointed toward the door, vocally urging him to leave. Qin Lang observed the furious reincarnation, slightly pursing his lips, uncertain of her thoughts. Yet, it was clear that he could not afford to be overly domineering at this juncture. Like a spooked little wildcat, it was not the time to go against the grain. He simply nodded in concession. "Very well, I shall take my leave." He produced a small, white jade vial and placed it in her hand, saying, "Inside are several beauty pills and a few cleansing elixirs. One will heal your physical injuries, while the other will purge impurities from your body, enhancing both your physical condition and capabilities." After handing the vial to her, Qin Lang turned to depart. Holding the small vial, Reincarnation found herself lost in thought. She looked up at Qin Lang's retreating figure, her brow furrowing with unease. She wished to express her gratitude, for she was aware of the efficacy and value of the beauty pills, having received none during her last encounter in the dense forest. Yet, the words caught in her throat, and she hesitated to voice them. Just then, coincidentally, Qin Lang turned back at the door, gazing into her eyes with concern. "I will be returning to the Dragon Kingdom soon. Although Chun Fan is not the best, there is some truth in his words. I am unsure if the Shadow Alliance and the Western Demon Extermination Society will encounter any issues. It is not safe for you to remain here alone. You should return early. Should anything occur, contact me immediately. No matter where you are, I will come to your side and ensure no one bullies you." With those words, Qin Lang departed. In the room, Reincarnation sat alone, her steps unsteady as she sank into the sofa, her brow furrowing deeper with anxiety. What was going on with Qin Lang? Why did that simple smile linger in her mind, leaving her in a state of contemplation? His warm smile kept resurfacing in her thoughts. Had she not been adept at controlling her expressions, she would undoubtedly have found it impossible to deliver her cutting remarks. Fearing she might become a mere sycophant, striving to please Qin Lang, the mere thought of this sent a chill through her. No, she could not persist in this manner. Returning to her homeland was inevitable, yet she must not do so in Tianhai City, nor allow herself to cross paths with Qin Lang. Otherwise, she would inevitably transform into something akin to a blood-red mandrake, an unthinking pawn devoid of individuality. How exhausting! Nevertheless, she had managed to resolve one uncertain factor. After Qin Lang made contact with Luo Qingyu, accompanied by internal operatives from Injia, proceeded to the location of Suchan. Along the way, he couldn't help but feel a sense of nostalgia. The coldness of reincarnation remained as piercing as ever, yet it was infinitely more bearable than it had been in the past. Human hearts are difficult to fathom and predict, yet they are not immune to fermentation. As time gradually passed, reincarnation would inevitably come to accept this reality. This also explained why Qin Lang endeavored to attribute various inexplicable events to benevolence towards reincarnation. Was it truly the blood-red mandrake's directive not to kill reincarnation? Nonsense. It was the blood-red mandrake's own desire to shatter reincarnation's pride, subjecting her to torment more agonizing than death itself. When ambushed in the dense forest, and recognizing reincarnation's identity. The failure to strike her down when she was gravely injured stemmed from love? Ridiculous. Even Qin Lang questioned whether he himself had inflicted such near-fatal wounds upon her. And to rescue reincarnation from the clutches of the Jin warriors? Wasn't he merely saving Luo Qingyu? A trivial matter, yet he had to voice it, as if uttering such words would cost him nothing, including this fortuitous encounter. Qin Lang's concern and provision of medicine were all deliberate steps designed to illuminate his kindness to reincarnation. He wished for this notion to slowly ferment in her heart, unperturbed by her perpetually frosty demeanor. To put it simply, at its core, this was akin to the behavior of an unrequited admirer. Much like an infatuated suitor pursuing a goddess. Why would the goddess, who clearly holds no affection for the suitor, still allow him to dote upon her? Even after dismissing him with a kick, she might, after some time, seek out a flimsy excuse to engage him in conversation, reigniting his hopes? Was it not simply a desire for care, a wish for someone to treat her well? Yet ultimately, why would the goddess refuse to share a room with the suitor? Was it not due to disdain for his appearance and his lack of wealth? These two reasons, in Qin Lang's case, were non-existent. Ordinary beauties care for looks and riches. Reincarnation is likely concerned with beauty and martial prowess. Which of these does Qin Lang lack? Reincarnation's current attitude resembles that of the goddess who once dismissed her suitor with disdain. It is proud, it is contemptuous. Yet as time passes, she will inevitably reminisce about Qin Lang's virtues. And when that moment arrives, a wicked smile graced Qin Lang's face. The cosmos remains uncertain. Who truly is the sycophant? The answer is yet to be determined. Ding. The daughter of fortune experiences an exceedingly unstable emotional cycle. Congratulations, host. You have acquired 500 villain points. Ding. The daughter of destiny's anger escalates dramatically. Congratulations, host. You have obtained an additional 1,000 villain points. Ding. The daughter of fortune faces an emotional breakdown. Congratulations, host. You have amassed 5,000 villain points. As the sudden system notification echoed in his ears, Qin Lang furrowed his brow. What is happening? Has something been revealed? Chapter 364. The unreasonable request from Su Chan Qin Lang. What are you smiling about? Ning Qianqian inquired, a teasing tone in her voice. I can't shake the feeling that your smile is rather unsettling. Have you, perchance, outmaneuvered that fellow Chun Fan again? Qin Lang was escorted by the internal personnel of the Hidden Kill organization to a location resembling an underground bomb shelter. Upon entering, he was greeted by Ning Qianqian, who had rushed over upon receiving news. No, is Chun Fan here too? Qin Lang replied dismissively, surveying the expansive underground space and the weapons and firearms displayed on either side. He couldn't help but marvel at the might of the local armed forces that dared not offend Hidden Kill. They possessed both strength and firepower. If a conflict were to arise, while it could not be said that the local forces led by Kolan would be entirely obliterated, it was certain that none of those petty leaders would emerge unscathed. Ning Qianqian Skofet ten fan resides upstairs. According to my senior sister's people, he just returned not long ago and is preparing to leave this place. I thought perhaps you had dealt with him. I have not encountered him, Qin Lang stated, dismissing the need for deception. He indeed had no dealings with Chun Fan. As for who he had engaged with, Ning Qianqian did not inquire, and he had no intention of divulging such information. Regardless, where Chun Fan goes is of no concern to me. I must warn you to be especially courteous. It took an entire night of sweet nothings with my senior sister to persuade my second senior sister to agree to a face-to-face discussion with you. Losing interest in Chun Fan, Ning Qianqian, unable to find a suitable topic, shifted the conversation to her own accomplishments. While it is true that you saved my second senior sister, she is quite a unique individual. Hidden Kill was established by her own hands, a labor of her heart. Entrusting it to others is inherently challenging, even for you, her savior. Enough, take me to see her. You've cornered me here, and let the people from Hidden Kill take me. What is the meaning of this? If it weren't for Ning Qianqian's unexpected intervention, he would have already met the leader of Hidden Kill, Su Chan. Fine, let us go then. No need to be so fierce. Ning Qianqian pouted, her cheeks puffing up as she shot a glare at Qin Lang. After a moment of huffing, she led the way while murmuring softly, "It was my senior sister who sent me to inform you in advance. My second senior sister has quite a peculiar temperament and rarely interacts with others, lacking familiarity with social niceties. She had scarcely conversed with a few men. Most of those she had met were targets, either slain by her own hand or eliminated by those who operated in the shadows. If she has inadvertently offended you in any way, I hope you will not hold it against her. Moreover, Do take care not to fall victim to my second senior sister. When she stirs up trouble, she is relentless, and even if it costs her dearly, she will surely take a piece of you. Particularly, my second senior sister is exceedingly combative. Should she propose a duel, it is imperative that you refuse. We can discuss matters at leisure, and my senior sister and I will advocate on your behalf. Do not blindly acquiesce to my second senior sister's unreasonable demands. Ning Qianqian chattered away, most of her words cautioning Qin Lang to remain vigilant and not to underestimate the situation. Above all, she urged him not to consent to Su Chan's outrageous request for a duel. All right, I understand, Qin Lang replied, recognizing her concern for him, which prompted her lengthy discourse. He was aware that had it been anyone else, she would have been indifferent. Qin Lang placed his hand gently on Ning Qianqian's small head, ruffling her hair, acknowledging that he had been somewhat brusque earlier. Humph. Ning Qianqian let out a soft huff, pridefully pouting her lips and puffing out her cheeks as she gazed defiantly at Qin Lang, her delicate chin lifted high, exuding an air of superiority. Never mind. I shall be magnanimous and not hold it against you. She stepped closer, linking her arm with Qin Lang's, her heart fluttering as she led him into the exclusive chamber of the Shadow Master. Senior sister, second senior sister, I have brought Qin Lang, Ning Qianqian declared matter-of-factly. Yet her actions resembled those of a girl returning to her family home, proudly showcasing her companion as she embraced Qin Lang's arm, exuding a sense of triumph before Luo Qingyu. Luo Qingyu raised her elegant brows, yet she understood that this was not the moment for disputes. She turned her gaze to her junior sister Su Chan, calmly advising, regardless of the circumstances, Qin Lang is your savior. It is only right that you show gratitude. Even if you are reluctant to relinquish the fruits of your labor in the shadows, do not stir up trouble. Lying on the bed, Su Chan fixed her gaze on Qin Lang the moment he entered. Her eyes, hidden beneath long bangs, sparkled with excitement and fervor. The senior sister refuses, and the junior sister also dissuades me, but I still wish to face you in battle, Su Chan declared bluntly, as if dismissing Luo Qingyu and Ning Qianqian's words as inconsequential. She was inherently combative when confronted with a strong adversary. Her instinct was not to retreat, but to charge forward, yearning for a fierce confrontation, ideally to vanquish her foe. Her nature was brutal, verging on the perverse. In the depths of the forest, when death loomed, her thoughts were not of escape, but of clearing away the weaker opponents to engage the strongest. Yet the so-called strongest, be they genetic warriors, high-ranking judges, or vice presidents of Shadow Alliance, were all effortlessly defeated by the man before her. She simply wished to ascertain, in her most formidable state, who among them was truly superior. Second senior sister, what are you babbling about? You think you can contend with Qin Lang? How could you possibly prevail? Even genetic warriors have fallen before him. What chance do you have? Unless you are prepared to stake your life. Everyone here is like family. Can't we sit down and talk it over? The person you wish to kill is, after all, your future brother-in-law. Have you considered your own fate? You must also ponder whether my dear junior sister will be left a widow in the future. Ning Qianqian earnestly advised. Su Chan remained deaf to her words, fixated solely on Qin Lang. Do you desire to engage in a hidden kill? Defeat me, and all that pertains to hidden kills will belong to you. Luo Qingyu rose, approached Qin Lang, and grasped his other arm, speaking calmly. Let us leave this place. There is no need for further discussion. She understood her second junior sister's nature well. Once she had made up her mind, she would not waver, even at the cost of her own life. Moreover, she was aware of her second junior sister's combative spirit. Within the sect, they had often clashed, with her second junior sister resorting to life-threatening techniques time and again. Were it not for their master's watchful eye, it was improbable that both she and her second junior sister would have survived together. To put it bluntly, her second junior sister was a callous warrior, unflinching in her pursuit of bloodshed. Wait a moment. Qin Lang did not depart. Instead, he regarded Su Chan with keen interest, a smile gracing his lips. To claim he did not desire a hidden kill would be disingenuous. The value of a hidden kill surpassed the total worth of all concealed organizations combined. Since you wish to challenge me, very well. I accept your request. Chapter 365. The Eerie Duel. Something seems off with the master of hidden kills, Qin Lang. Luo Qingyu called out, her composure wavering. What are you planning? If these two truly engaged in combat, she was not concerned about Qin Lang's potential defeat. Her real worry lay with her second junior sister, who would undoubtedly face near-certain death. Should her second junior sister resort to her desperate techniques, it was conceivable that even Qin Lang could suffer severe injuries. It was hardly worth the risk. Was it merely about a hidden kill? With her second junior sister present, it was impractical to take over, but if an opportunity arose to summon her back to the Dragon Kingdom, there would be numerous details to manipulate. There were safer alternatives to balance the situation, allowing Qinlang to assume control of hidden kill affairs. Why take such a tremendous risk? Second, elder sister. Cease this commotion. What is there to fight about? We are all family. Hurting one another is not in anyone's interest. It is merely a hidden kill. Let it go. You may continue to manage as you see fit. Ning Qianqian tugged at Qinlang's arm, urging him to leave. Engaging in a duel with a madman? Surviving would mean losing half one's life, which was utterly unnecessary. Qingyu, Qianqian, there is no need for your persuasion. My purpose in joining Kalan is to expand my own power. Now that a prime opportunity for a hidden kill lies before me, how could I possibly let it slip away? Qinlang extricated his arm from Ning Qianqian's grasp, gazing intently at Su Chan very well. Grant me a day to fully absorb the effects of the snow lotus petals, and then I shall face you. Su Chan's expression turned serious, her tousled bangs framing eyes that sparkled with excitement. A day would pass in the blink of an eye. The news of Qinlang's impending duel with Su Chan gradually spread throughout the Dark Blade Bar, igniting a frenzy among the patrons. Blood-red Mandala, along with Mu Yuyan, Lin Yuchu, and others, all hastened to the stronghold of the hidden kill. Lo Qingyu, Ning Qianqian, have you lost your senses? When Qinlang returned 2 nights ago, he bore wounds sustained while rescuing the leader of Hidden Kill for your sake. Now, not only is he unacknowledged for his sacrifice, but he is also facing the threat of death in combat. What kind of logic is this? Is this the code of your sect? To repay kindness with enmity? Do you believe Qinlang's physique is so robust that he requires a good beating? Even Lin Yuchu, typically carefree, could not restrain her ire upon learning of Qinlang's duel with Su Chan. Usually, she would observe from the sidelines, indifferent to the fray, but this time, she was genuinely incensed. To repay kindness with enmity, indeed. This is sheer madness. Where is Qinlang? We must take him away from here. You failed to protect your own man, but we understand. Lo Qingyu remained silent, her thoughts trapped within, unable to voice her feelings. Ning Qianqian bit her lip, lowering her head, silently enduring the onslaught from Lin Yuchu and Mu Yuyan, finally speaking with a bitter resignation. We don't know where our second senior sister and Qinlang have gone. They have vanished from the Hidden Kill stronghold. Given the prowess of the second senior sister and Qinlang, if they wish to remain undetected, even the local armed forces led by Kolan might struggle to locate them. Blood-red Mandala, who had remained a detached observer, scoffed, her beautiful eyes glinting coldly as she regarded Ning Qianqian and briefly glanced at Lo Qingyu. Should Qinlang suffer any irreversible harm, both you, Ning Qianqian, and your senior sister will pay dearly. You, Ning Qianqian, unable to contain her frustration, raised her hand to point at blood-red Mandala, prepared to confront her. Who fears whom? While I may not be able to best you alone with my senior sister by my side, what is blood-red Mandala worth? Yet, before her words could escape, Lo Qingyu seized her wrist, and under the reproachful gaze of her senior sister, she could only lower her proud head in helplessness. The leader of Hidden Kill has returned. The atmosphere within the stronghold turned exceedingly tense, with each woman casting glances of disdain at one another. Suddenly, like a shadow, Ishihara Kanako uttered a remark that shifted everyone's focus to the entrance. Dressed in an oversized black robe that concealed her figure, her disheveled hair and downcast gaze marked Su Chan as she walked slowly towards her designated room, treating the gathering of outsiders as if they were mere air. Where is Qinlang? Where is he now? What is the situation? One question followed another, thrusting Su Chan into the eye of the storm, as hostile glares swept over her. Who emerged victorious? Luo Qingyu, understanding the nature of her second junior sister, directly inquired about the matter. Su Chan lifted her head, half of her face obscured by bangs. Those who knew recognized the woman before them as the god of death from the Hidden Kill organization. Those who did not might mistake her for a reclusive girl who had not left her room in half a year. He did not win, and I did not lose. Tomorrow we shall battle again. After uttering these words, Su Chan returned to her room, leaving behind a slender silhouette. What is happening? Lin Yuchu felt a sense of unease, sensing that something was amiss. Could it be that the Lord of Hidden Kill harbored some untold secret with Qinlang? She did not appear to be preparing for a fight. Nonsense. What kind of person is my second senior sister? We are well aware of her disinterest in men and her lack of interaction with strangers. How could she possibly be the type you suggest? The absence of a decisive victory today might lead to grave consequences. The stillness before the storm is the most suffocating. Were it any other woman, she might entertain Lin Youchu's speculations, but regarding her second senior sister, it was clear she was a battle-hungry enigma. There was no possibility of that. In fact, she believed that the restrained second senior sister could be even more terrifying. On the following day, Blood Red Mandala failed to locate Qin Lang, and Luo Qingyu and Ning Qianqian could not keep Su Chan, who had slipped away from the hidden kill headquarters. There was no remedy for this. This was Su Chan's territory, and no one knew its layout better than she did. To leave was not merely a matter of strength. When they received news, it was Su Chan who had returned to the hidden kill base of her own accord. She was still clad in her voluminous black robe, her disheveled hair dirted, and her face bore traces of grime, her appearance somewhat muddied. However, there were no visible scars. Rather, it seemed she had been rolling in the mud. Who emerged victorious? Luo Qingyu pondered the same question. He is strong, truly formidable. Yet, I shall not lose. This time, Su Chan appeared less composed, her expression tinged with a crimson hue, resembling a ferocious beast that had found its prey. It was the gaze of a hunter, once fixated on a target. It would not relent until the prey was toyed with to death. Chapter 366. The Collapse of the Woman's Destiny. On the third day, who won? I did not lose. I have not lost. I have not lost. This time, Su Chan's return was noticeably different. Her voice trembled as she spoke, her pupils a shade of blood red. She resembled a relentless predator, having faced repeated setbacks, now agitated, furious, even a twisted beast. On the fourth day, who won? I won. I defeated him. He is no match for me. Su Chan's condition intensified, leaving the onlookers in trepidation. This was Kolan. If this were in the Dragon Country, Lin Youchu would likely wish to contact the third hospital, summoning a cadre of doctors clad in white coats to restrain Su Chan and take her for treatment. On the fifth day, who killed him? Who killed Qin Lang? I shall ensure his demise. The illness has spiraled beyond control. On the sixth day, He. On the seventh day, how about seizing an opportunity for you all to join forces and bind Su Chan? Transport her back to the Dragon Country. My family is involved in medical projects and possesses a private hospital. If you can restrain her and prevent her from taking lives, I promise to summon the finest neurologists to restore her health. Lin Youchu could no longer contain her voice, offering assistance. How pitiful, so very pitiful. They had not seen Qin Lang for days, oblivious to his whereabouts and actions. How could the formidable Lord of Assassins be reduced to such a state? In the initial days, the situation seemed manageable. At least he could utter a few words. However, things took a turn, and he could only proclaim his victory and the intent to kill Qin Lang. Eventually, he could no longer hold on. All that escaped his lips were he, and every time Su Chan emitted that laughter, her body trembled, revealing the immense grievances and torment she had endured, rendering her speechless except for that haunting laughter. Perhaps they should heed Youchu's advice. Her family is serious about business, with comprehensive medical equipment and renowned experts from both domestic and international circles. Mu Yuyin felt a pang of sympathy, observing Su Chan, who was already troubled, descending further into a path of no return. She felt an unshakable sense of responsibility as Qin Lang's former fiancé. An impulse to atone for Qin Lang's misdeeds surged within her. What are you looking at? I have not uttered threats since the fifth day. This is not my affair. Blood Red Mandala, noticing Mu Yuyin and Lin Youchu's gaze, immediately retorted with displeasure. Su Chan has gone mad, but that has nothing to do with her. She is capable of murder, yet she would never torment someone into such a state. It's chilling to behold. Once Chan returns, I will take action. You all must assist in ensuring no innocent parties are harmed. As the senior sister, Luo Qingyu could no longer bear witness to this unfolding tragedy. What began as a competition, fueled by concern for Qin Lang's safety against Su Chan, had now evolved into the women on Qin Lang's side, taking on the burden of the second junior sister's mental condition. How about she turn a blind eye? We shall seek treatment, return to the Dragon Country, and find the best neurologist. If that fails, we will summon our esteemed master from retirement. It is imperative that my second junior sister does not completely succumb to madness. Ning Qianqian clenched her small fist, filled with determination. That is my second senior sister, the little medical sage, bear an unshakable responsibility. The troubles my man has caused, I shall resolve. Upon my second senior sister's return, I will thoroughly assess her mental state. The room, full of women, began to plot on how to capture Su Chan, how to render her unconscious, and how to discreetly arrange for her transfer to the Dragon Country, contemplating whether to procure a silicone dummy and adorn it in the likeness of Qin Lang. I mused that perhaps Su-chan could eliminate this stand-in to extinguish her fury. Otherwise, the knot within my heart would remain untied, possibly beyond the reach of any remedy. What are you all waiting for? Su-chan did not venture out for battle today. She is upstairs. I happened to catch a glimpse of her as I entered, carrying a bag of flour, and the assassins mentioned she had been busy all morning. Upon entering, I overheard Xuan Huannai and sensed something amiss, prompting me to speak up. What? Ning Qianqian gasped, and soon several women hastily made their way towards the building of the inn. On the ascent, I brushed past a lovely girl clad in a white dress, her long, smooth ponytails swaying gracefully. Wait, Ning Qianqian halted. What is the matter? We have important matters to attend to. If you're feeling unwell, find a place to sort out yourself, Lin Yuchu exclaimed irritably. The girl I just encountered seemed to be the second senior sister. Ning Qianqian found her thoughts rather outrageous. The second senior sister's appearance, reminiscent of a homebody, was a stark contrast to the pure and charming girl I had just seen. Even the eldest sister, Luo Qingyu, could not help but roll her eyes upon hearing this. It truly is the second senior sister. When she was gravely injured at Kalan, I took care of her. You all have no idea what lies beneath her disheveled appearance, but I do, Ning Qianqian insisted. Yet seeing that the eldest sister was unfazed, she called out loudly. Second senior sister, is that you? No response. Luo Qingyu placed a hand on her junior's shoulder, sighing, intending to advise her not to overthink it and not to burden herself too much, as even she had not anticipated the circumstances surrounding the second junior sister. Just then, a familiar voice echoed from downstairs. Hey, hee, what the heck? It truly is the second senior sister, Ning Qianqian thought to herself, but upon confirming her suspicion, she could not help but utter a curse. It was utterly unbelievable. The group of girls rushed downstairs, blocking the path of the twin-tailed sweet girl. At that moment, they truly realized how sweet she appeared. Standing around 168 meters tall, she wore white leather shoes adorned with two symmetrical white peony flowers. Above those shoes were her long, slender legs encased in white knee-high stockings. Her pristine white dress, with ruffled edges, exuded a certain elegance. Her flawless face, featuring exquisite features, was most captivating due to the gently swaying twin ponytails at the back of her head. Are you looking for me? I have matters to attend to. I need to deliver a cake to Qinlang. Su-chan held a delicately crafted small cake, and after speaking, she lowered her gaze to the confection, chuckling softly, her shoulders shaking slightly. Luo Qingyu swallowed hard, a chill creeping up her spine. Lin Yuchu, filled with dread, grasped her best friend's hand tightly. I fear this patient may no longer be admitted to our hospital. Chapter 367. Ning Qianqian. I won't help again in my next life. Has she completely lost her mind? The transformation of Su-chan was so drastic that both Luo Qingyu and Ning Qianqian, who were her fellow disciples, found it hard to accept, let alone the unrelated Lin Yuchu and others. Senior sister, did you bake this cake? Is it for Qinlang? Ning Qianqian quietly inquired, pointing at the exquisite cake that Su-chan held in her hands. Su-chan merely lowered her head, gazing at the cake, her twin ponytails swaying gently with the tremors of her shoulders. I'll have a taste. Ning Qianqian, slightly anxious, reached out and scraped a layer of cream from the cake, first examining its structure before scrutinizing the cream on her finger. She harbored grave suspicions that her senior sister had lost her sanity due to her inability to defeat Qinlang by strength, now nearly teetering on the brink of madness, attempting to eliminate him through other means. However, after a thorough inspection, she found no flaws in the cake's composition. It was too small to conceal a bomb. Could it be that the cream contained some lethal poison? Swallowing hard, she silently chanted to herself, I am a little healer, trying to muster her courage as she placed the cream in her mouth and savored it. Suddenly, her brows furrowed in concern. What is wrong? Are you unwell? Luo Qingyu leaned in, visibly anxious. Ning Qianqian turned, her expression a mixture of bitterness and disbelief. The cream posed no issue, and in fact, tasted rather delightful. This is bad, senior sister. We are in serious trouble. If the cake or cream had indeed been problematic, it could have been explained away. But now, with no issues at all, that was the most alarming predicament. Who was her second senior sister? The master of hidden kills, the god of slaughter. Baking a cake? She had never even touched a cooking spoon, her thoughts consumed solely by martial arts and killing. Day in and day out, she existed like a phantom, more reclusive than even the fourth senior sister, hardly engaging when master spoke to her. Yet now, she was actively making a cake for Qinlang, a legitimate cake. A wave of dread surged within Ning Qianqian. Luo Qingyu, holding onto her junior sister's hand, was at a loss for words. At that moment, Su Chan, still clutching the cake, did not head for the door but instead ascended the stairs. Senior sister, where are you going? Didn't you say you were delivering the cake to Qinlang? Ning Qianqian cautiously asked. You touched the cake, it's contaminated. I'll redo it. No sooner had she spoken than Su Chan disdainfully hurled the partially scraped cake in Ning Qianqian's direction, not even glancing back as she made her way to the upstairs kitchen. Several hours later, Su Chan, finally led by the girls, arrived at the dark blade bar. Cradling a delicately crafted transparent box, which contained a meticulously recreated cream cake adorned with intricately carved flowers, Su Chan stood poised to deliver her offering to Qinlang, who had remained ensconced in his office upstairs, preoccupied with his tasks throughout the day. If you intend to present the cake, now is the moment. Mu Yuyin urged Su Chan, gesturing toward the office not far away. After several hours of deliberation, both the fellow disciples and the women associated with Qinlang had tacitly accepted Su Chan's intention to deliver the cake, as there were no explosives hidden within the confection, nor any nefarious toxins laced within the cream. They reasoned that she should be allowed to act as she pleased. It was imperative that no further agitation transpired. It was evident to all that Su Chan had become ensnared in a web of self-delusion, her mind in a state of heightened tension. Should that fragile thread snap, who could predict the horrors she might unleash? They all hoped that this trial would pass without calamity. He is inside. I dare not approach. You must go, Su Chan murmured, her gaze fixated on the direction of Qinlang's office, her head bowed, fixating on the cake in her hands. A sickly flush crept across her delicate cheeks as she entrusted the cake to Ning Qianqian, emphasizing repeatedly, do not mention me. Simply deliver it for him to taste. Oh, dear second senior sister, this cake is your handiwork, a token of your affection. It would be best if you presented it yourself, Ning Qianqian replied, shaking her head, unwilling to entangle herself in any potential repercussions stemming from her second senior sister's actions. Her foremost concern lay in the uncertainty surrounding the cake's contents. What if unforeseen complications arose? Would she bear the blame? Although she was a skilled healer, she adeptly navigated the intricacies of human relationships. Should you ruin the cake? I shall have your head. Su Chan's eyes glinted with a fierce crimson hue. Very well, I shall go. Ning Qianqian swiftly accepted the cake and dashed towards Qinlang's office, her heart brimming with indignation. After all, she had saved her second senior sister's life. Yet here she was, threatened with her own for the sake of a ruined cake. It felt utterly unjust. As these thoughts raced through her mind, she arrived at the threshold of Qinlang's office, one hand supporting the cake while the other rapped on the door. Coincidentally, Qinlang emerged just as she knocked, and the door, designed to swing outward for fire safety, swung open and collided with Ning Qianqian's arm. The exquisite box tumbled towards the floor. Good heavens! Even Ning Qianqian felt her heart leap into her throat. This was the cake that had consumed her second senior sister's painstaking hours of labor. If it were to shatter, her own life would be forfeit. Instinctively, she reached out, catching the falling box with a swift motion, her heart racing as she pressed one hand against her chest while the other steadied the box, casting a reassuring glance towards her second senior sister. Fear not. I am here. All is well. Lo Qinyu, Mu Yiyin, Lin Yuchu, and even the blood-red mandala collectively exhaled, visibly shaken by the unexpected turn of events. Fortunately, it was caught. Catching it was a relief. They had just felt a pervasive and reckless intent to kill, which had now fortunately dissipated. Qinlang, after a long day of labor, must be weary. Have a piece of cake and savor its flavor. Someone has prepared it for you with care. Ning Qianqian, not daring to waste another moment, hastily extended the box. However, during this process, the corner of the box loosened due to its earlier fall, and as it was handed over, the base became unstable. With a soft thud, the exquisite little cake plummeted from the base, landing on the carpet below. Despite the cushioning, the cake, being inherently soft, was transformed into a disordered heap upon impact. Ning Qianqian's beautiful eyes widened in shock as she stared at the mess at her feet. Too stunned to breathe. It was over. She could hardly contain her distress. In the distance, Luo Qingyu and the other girls held their breath, their gazes fixed on Su Chan, who was caught in the middle with her twin ponytails. The tension in the atmosphere caused her hair to begin to fray and float. On a night like this, with so many other delectable treats available, why cake? It was just as well it had broken. It could simply be tossed in the bin, which also meant the carpet was now sullied. Qinlang waved his hand dismissively. With a single statement, He sent Ning Qianqian and Luo Qingyu into a state of fright. Something was amiss. A chilling aura swept through the corridor. Su Chan's twin ponytails, bound by cherry red ribbons, snapped under the pressure of the atmosphere, leaving her hair cascading wildly. Chan'er, Qin Lang didn't he mean it? Please calm down and don't be angry. We can make another one. Yes. Don't be upset. It was truly unintentional. Who could have foreseen that the door would open at that moment? Indeed, Sister Su-chan, you are so kind-hearted. You wouldn't be angry, would you? Luo Qingyu, Mu Yuyan, and Lin Yuchu hurried to dissuade her. Watching in horror as Su-chan transformed from a pure and charming girl into a wild, disheveled figure. I will kill you. I will kill you. I will kill you. Su-chan, with her head lowered, slowly raised it, a sinister smile creeping across her lips, resembling a vengeful spirit returned from hell. Fixating her gaze on Qin Lang, with a murderous aura radiating from her. In a flash, she moved with a boundless killing intent, akin to a fierce warrior emerging from a sea of corpses and blood, charging fiercely towards Qin Lang. Luo Qingyu reacted swiftly, rushing to intervene and locking Su Chan's neck while restraining one of her arms, temporarily gaining control over her. Help! Su Chan was inherently combative, unafraid of injury. Even when restrained, she struggled fiercely, as if she were determined to break free. Even Luo Qingyu dared not act recklessly, only directing a glance towards the blood-red mandala for assistance. The blood-red mandala was reluctant to intervene, yet witnessing the unfolding scene, it could do nothing but step forward to restrain Su Chan's other arm. Whether it is the blood-colored mandala or Luo Qingyu, neither is inferior to Su Chan. They exist on the same level. The two of them, in unison, completely restrained Su Chan's movements, rendering her incapable of advancing a single step, no matter how furious she became. I will kill you. I will kill you. I will kill you. Su Chan's gleam hits the gali, her pupils ablaze with a crimson hue, resembling a frenzied spirit. The cake was gone, shattered, and Qin Lang even suggested discarding it. The tension that had been stretched to its limit snapped. Hey, 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 hey. Su Chan fixated on Qin Lang's direction, revealing a chillingly sinister grin. Her entire body trembling, the upper half under control while her legs kicked wildly, as if she believed that by kicking fast enough, she could escape without the use of her upper body. She had completely lost all semblance of human reason. Second senior sister, please, don't do this. Don't do this. Ning Qianqian, sensing the urgency of the situation, rushed over to assist. However, her arms and neck were restrained by the senior sister and the blood-colored mandala, leaving her with no other means to intervene. Frantically scanning the scene, she resorted to wrapping her arms around Su Chan's leg, clinging on. It's all my fault. Truly a misunderstanding. Second senior sister, please calm down. Just take a moment to breathe. The cake is gone. We can simply make another one. No need to be angry. Please. Qin Lang, you must explain. She urged. That cake was meticulously crafted by Su Chan after a long day of hard work, and it tasted exquisite. Even if it was accidentally damaged, an explanation is imperative. The women rallied together, with Mu Yuyan also attempting to persuade Qin Lang, deliberately avoiding mention of his intention to discard the cake, her eyes blinking in a hinting manner. Damaged items should be discarded. What is there to explain? Qin Lang replied coldly. Ah. The anguished cries echoed through the corridor. It was not Su Chan who was lamenting, but Ning Qianqian, who, by unfortunate coincidence, was clinging to Su Chan's leg, unable to withstand the frenzy of Su Chan's uncontrollable state. Up and down she went, lifted and dropped, her senses overwhelmed by the high-frequency kicks. With her fury unabated, Su Chan relentlessly aimed kicks towards Qin Lang, sending a small shoe flying. Qin Lang dodged just in time, and the shoe struck the door panel. Suddenly, another figure rushed toward him. Qin Lang instinctively raised his hand and caught the object that had been kicked away, glancing down to softly inquire, "Are you all right?" Ning Qianqian opened her eyes, dazed and bewildered. She had braced for impact, expecting to be struck by the door, yet unexpectedly, she found herself cradled in Qin Lang's arms. This was a first. I'm fine, thank you," she exclaimed, wrapping her arms around his neck, sweetly resting her head on his shoulder. "All is well, you can stand now." Qin Lang gently lowered Ning Qianqian's legs to the ground. Ning Qianqian felt somewhat dazed, staring at Qin Lang with an air of dissatisfaction. What was going on? Just as she had begun to immerse herself in the moment, she was abruptly set aside. Was it truly necessary to be so devoid of humor? How tiresome! While she lamented, her gaze fell upon her second senior sister, who was incessantly kicking her legs. A spark ignited in her eyes as she swiftly dashed over and clung to Su Chan's thigh, wailing pitifully, second sister, please calm down." Perhaps sensing that her second sister's fervor had waned, she deliberately encouraged her, "Don't be angry. I know you're upset. After all, you spent hours meticulously crafting that cake. And even the slightest touch from outsiders would necessitate a complete redo." But whoosh! Ning Qianqian was flung out once more. This Ning Qianqian, has she gone mad? At this moment, she was still provoking Su Chan? Mu Yiyin questioned in terror. Beside her, Lin Yuchu furrowed her brow, exclaiming, "Truly insane. Is the competition among the women around Qin Lang this intense? Are they risking their lives for just a moment of embrace? Where are you going?" Mu Yiyin rolled her eyes in exasperation, feeling that she and Lin Yuchu were never on the same wavelength. Without looking back, Lin Yuchu replied, "I'm going to practice some handstands. I can't let this opportunity slip by while Qin Lang is in the restroom." Although her approach was rather peculiar, Lin Yuchu was ultimately of no assistance, standing far off and merely causing more chaos, remaining rather inconspicuous. Qin Lang, having discerned the unfolding events, approached the furious Su Chan with a solemn expression, undeterred by her chaotic kicking, as he advanced steadily, as if traversing uncharted territory. In contrast, the enraged Su Chan, akin to a bloodthirsty demon, gradually reined in her long legs attack, range upon noticing Qin Lang's approach. By the time he stood before her, her legs were slightly bent backward, resembling a flower dragged along the ground by the blood-red mandala and Luo Qingyu. "Hey, hee. Su Chan cackled, her eyes fixed intently on Qin Lang. "Let go," Qin Lang murmured to Luo Qingyu and the blood-red mandala. After a moment of hesitation, they exchanged glances and reluctantly released one of Su Chan's arms. The trapped beast transformed in an instant into a bloodthirsty demon. Su Chan twisted her rigid body, her hair dancing wildly as she emitted eerie laughter, glancing up at Qin Lang with a sidelong gaze peeking through her long bangs. "The cake from earlier, did you make it?" Qin Lang placed his hand gently upon Su Chan's head, stroking her hair tenderly. The eerie laughter was abruptly interrupted by a melodic, delicate sound. As her hair settled, the demonic demeanor dissipated, and Su Chan appeared before Qin Lang like a docile student, nervously clutching the hem of her skirt, stammering and faltering as she spoke. "Yes, I made it. You didn't eat it, but it looks delicious." Qin Lang sighed, akin to a commendation. Su Chan cautiously raised her head, yearning to meet Qin Lang's gaze. Yet upon locking eyes with him, she was so startled that she hastily lowered her head, unsure whether it was fear or shyness that overwhelmed her. In any case, the drastic shift in her demeanor was astonishing. However, Qin Lang shifted his tone, taking the initiative with a newfound sternness, his voice becoming rigid. "I have told you before, you are a prodigy in martial arts, destined to become a leader in the future. This hand of yours is meant for wielding a sword, not for handling kitchen utensils. Every moment you squander on trivial matters tarnishes your inherent genius. The cake was well made, but do not make it again." Chapter 369, Return to Long Country. All matters converge understood. "I want to do it again," Su Chan mumbled, her head bowed, allowing Qin Lang's hand to rest upon her head. This scene elicited a sharp intake of breath from Luo Qingyu, who stood nearby. This younger sister, who would recklessly engage in battles without a second thought, now displayed such obedient and docile behavior, resembling a little kitten before a man she had scarcely met. She felt for the first time as though Qin Lang were truly Su Chan's senior brother, while she herself was but a jester. "Enough. Do not waste any more time with Kalan. Leave the matters of hidden kill to my people to handle. Focus on enhancing your strength. One day, you shall stand at the pinnacle of martial arts." Qin Lang's expression was grave, his tone earnest, leaving one to assume he was discussing something of monumental significance concerning Su Chan's future. In truth, he merely sought to usurp Su Chan's control over the organization of Hidden Kill. Such a trivial scheme was apparent even to Ning Qianqian, a clever spirit unconcerned with matters of power. Yet, Su Chan, the one ensnared in her own dilemma, nodded absent-mindedly. "I will heed your words. I will not involve myself with Hidden Kill. I will solely focus on improving my strength." She glanced at Qin Lang, her cheeks flushed, and lowered her head again, fidgeting with the hem of her dress. Stammering, she attempted to speak. Lost in her thoughts, she could not articulate her words, instead covering her awkwardness with nervous laughter before fleeing without a backward glance. "What on earth just happened? Why does it feel as if my worldview has collapsed?" Ning Qianqian approached, her eyes wide with shock as she gazed at Qin Lang. Just a week prior, her elder sister had declared her intent to challenge Qin Lang to a life-and-death duel. Yet, here they were, only a short time later, and it was as if she had transformed into an entirely different person. Had she not witnessed her sister's face beneath her bangs, she would scarcely believe that the bashful girl just now was the same cold-blooded assassin who would take lives without a flicker of an eye. "What did you do to my elder sister?" Ning Qianqian poked at Qin Lang's bicep with curiosity bubbling over. Not just her, but even Luo Qingyu and Mu Yuyan, who had walked over, wore expressions of skepticism. Perhaps this was the allure of personal magnetism? Qin Lang gazed down the corridor, watching Su Chan's graceful silhouette fade away at the entrance of the bar, and he couldn't help but sigh. He refrained from providing a direct answer. Some matters were best kept secret from Luo Qingyu and the others. It was not convenient to disclose them. In truth, he had not committed any egregious acts. He had merely bested Su Chan time and again. This woman was inherently competitive, indifferent to everything else, and it was only through defeating her in strength that her fierce spirit could be ignited. However, this competitive spirit, after consecutive defeats, would inevitably lead to self-doubt. Su Chan was no exception. In other words, her mindset was crumbling from loss, leading her to question her very existence. She even began to doubt whether her previous victories over enemies were the result of ambushes or mere luck. Otherwise, why was she facing increasingly dismal defeats against Qin Lang? In her most desolate and helpless moments, Qin Lang appeared, his amiable demeanor, coupled with his extraordinary tea skills, providing constant comfort and encouragement, allowing Su Chan's shattered heart to begin to mend. Unexpectedly, she found herself benefiting from this interaction. Su Chan, who had always been reclusive and solely interested in killing, had rarely encountered men and was utterly oblivious to matters of romance. Yet, she was still a woman with normal desires. It was just that the men she had previously encountered seemed no more significant than ants in her eyes. How could a goddess of death compare herself to mere insects? Only the arrival of Qin Lang could unearth the long-buried youthful heart within her. Day and night, she found herself lost in fantasies and self-reflection. As for the reason Su Chan had adopted a sweet and charming appearance, it stemmed from a previous battle when Bai Xiaoyan had shared a photo of herself with twin ponytails and white stockings, which Su Chan had coincidentally seen and decided to emulate. This was certainly not due to any peculiar preference of Qin Lang's, compelling Su Chan to dress in such a manner. Absolutely not. "You all can tidy up and head home," Qin Lang said lightly, urging them on. The situation with Kulan had already been resolved. Whether it was Kulan's local armed forces or the Hidden Kill and Darkblade organizations, including the fragmented smaller factions, they had all become his pawns. Remaining here held little significance. "Are we really going back now?" Ning Qianqian murmured. "Well, I suppose it's better. I'm not quite accustomed to staying here. Home is far more comfortable." Luo Qingyu and Mu Yuyan said nothing, quietly returning to their quarters to pack their belongings. Over the course of the night, Qin Lang arranged for Ishihara Kanai to gradually take on the responsibilities of Hidden Kill and to coordinate the local armed forces under Kulan. After all, she had served as the Dark Master of Darkblade, possessing leadership qualities that others lacked. "Young Master Qin, are you really going back now? Aren't you staying for a bit longer?" Ishihara Kana nestled in Qin Lang's embrace, their discussions having transitioned from the office to a vast imported mattress over time. She felt a twinge of reluctance, her intentions laden with a desire that was not merely about parting with Qin Lang, but also a yearning for him to aid her in seeking vengeance. Once Qin Lang departed, the prospect of retribution would be postponed indefinitely. "Once the matters concerning Kalan are settled, you may come to Longhua to find me. In the meantime, I urge you to keep a keen eye on the benefits promised by the Western Demon Extermination Society and the Shadow Alliance." Qin Lang's tender reassurances and earnest counsel paved the way for deeper dialogue. Kana furrowed her brow, gradually relaxing, and let out a soft hum. She understood the magnitude of these two organizations and recognized Qin Lang's intentions, which were fundamentally about leveraging an opportunity. She could not refuse any assistance that could be offered and sought to display her capabilities, hoping to leave a more profound impression and elevate her status in Qin Lang's heart. During their farewell gathering, Kana unveiled her charms, striving to please him, while Qin Lang remained steadfast and unmoving. She was a tempest of emotions. "Ding! Congratulations, host! You have acquired 1,000 villain points." "Ding! Congratulations, host! You have acquired 10,002 villain points." "Ding! Congratulations, host! You have acquired 10,007 villain points." The following evening, Apart from the first group of bodyguards, including Lao Huang, heading to Kalan, the others returned to the territory of Longhua, accompanied by a figure cloaked in a white dress, the master of hidden assassins. Qin Lang, during your absence from the company, construction at the Kalan factory has commenced, and numerous matters await my attention. I shall return with you, Chu, Mu Yiyan explained, reluctantly taking Lin Yuchu with her in the dedicated vehicle back to the company. We shall depart ahead. Should you require any assistance, do not hesitate to inform me, and I shall arrive promptly. Luo Qingyu and Ning Qianqian hurriedly tugged at Su Chan, who clutched her garment, fleeing under the scrutinizing gaze of the blood-red mandala. It felt as if the three sisters had all set their sights on the same man, Qin Lang, a matter far too delicate to be exposed to the world. Young master, please get in the car, Junzi said respectfully, opening the rear door of the Maybach. Shall we go together? Qin Lang glanced at the distant figure of the blood-red mandala. Oomph. The blood-red mandala huffed, vanishing from sight in solitude. She simmered with resentment, uncertain whether it was Qin Lang's unfulfilled promises that irked her or the scene she witnessed that morning which incited her jealousy. Regardless, she remained in a temperamental mood. Qin Lang did not press the matter. As he settled into the plush back seat of the Maybach, he lit a cigarette, inhaling deeply before exhaling wisps of smoke through the open window, reflecting, time has flown by, and while things in Kalan are tolerable, nothing compares to the comfort of the airback in Longhua. Returning to one's homeland is indeed a solace. Junzi echoed his sentiments, asking, young master, where shall we head next? According to common reasoning, Miss Su is likely still at the orphanage and has not returned yet, while the young lady of the Bai family is probably still in Tianyu City. Should we visit Miss Lin or Professor Zhou? At that moment, Junzi's phone chimed with a message. Upon glancing at it, his brow furrowed immediately. Young master, something has happened with Miss Chu. It seems someone has targeted the Chu family with ruthless methods. Chu Mingyao, Qin Lang murmured in confusion, waving his hand to indicate he would investigate further. Meanwhile, at the Chu family villa, the atmosphere was resplendent, adorned with lights and colorful banners, radiating an air of celebration. Everywhere, goblets clinked in toasts, and the sounds of business flattery filled the air. Occasionally, guests glanced in Chu Mingyao's direction, giving her a thumbs up and exclaiming, a daughter should be like this. Today marked Chu Mingyao's 20th birthday, and although Chu Tianping's fortunes had waned, he was nonetheless delighted to celebrate his daughter's milestone, hosting a grand banquet for the prominent figures of Tianhai City. Dad, there's no need for such fanfare and to invite so many people. I can hardly keep up with the toasts, Chu Mingyao complained, dressed in an elegant, floor-length red gown that accentuated her long, graceful legs. Shimmering in the light of the crystal chandelier, she stood beside Chu Tianpeng, covering her lips with a high-stem glass, her dissatisfaction palpable. You girl, always clamoring for young Master Qin. Now that the opportunity presents itself, you seem discontented? Chu Tianpeng chuckled inwardly, bemused by his daughter. Recently, she had frequently inquired about Qin Lang, and if he, as her father, remained oblivious to her feelings, he might as well consider a vasectomy. It was merely a matter of her harboring some secretive thoughts. His precious daughter had blossomed into such a graceful young lady, and at her age, he could not oppose her desire for romance. Yet, despite his efforts to gather information on Qin Lang, he had found no leads. Thus, he seized this opportunity to host a lavish banquet, subtly aiming to spread news of the event to Qin Lang, hoping he would make an appearance. Are you saying that Qin Lang will come? Is that true? Chu Mingyao questioned, disbelief evident in her tone. Realizing how shameful her involuntary question sounded, she stomped her foot in embarrassment and retorted, who says I want to see him? I grumble about him daily because I feel he's gone too far. If I find a chance, I must wrap his head in a sack and give him a good beating. If you wish to strike, then go ahead, Chu Tianpeng scoffed. Setting aside whether his daughter possessed such capabilities, even if she were to succeed, whether she could bring herself to do so was a significant concern. Dad, do you think Qin Lang will come upon hearing about my birthday? Chu Mingyao's voice fell, her confidence seemingly waning. She was acutely aware that, with Qin Lang's silence, their relationship had nearly dissolved. Indeed, a significant part of the situation stems from her own perceptions. She believed Qin Lang to be a villain, one who cared solely for other girls and never considered her feelings. Anger, jealousy, and defiance consumed her. Yet, when news of Qin Lang vanished without a trace, and she found herself unable to uncover any leads, panic began to seep in. She reflected on the myriad moments they shared, realizing that perhaps Qin Lang had treated her rather well. Without him, her father would have long been sidelined by the board, lacking the influence to invite so many dignitaries from Tianhai City to celebrate her birthday. Had it not been for Qin Lang, she might have been claimed by the so-called four young masters of Tianhai, leaving her devoid of the privilege to bask in the limelight. In fact, as she reminisced about the blush-inducing incidents at Qin Lang's villa, she felt not shame, but a sweet sense of nostalgia. Though not a paragon of virtue, Qin Lang had never forced her into anything, always showering her with tender care. With the passage of time, certain details have been magnified in Chu Mingyao's heart, making Qin Lang's kindness all the more vivid. Most importantly, with such an exceptional man like Qin Lang in her life, the other suitors appeared utterly inadequate and mundane in her eyes. Would he come? Would he not? Chu Mingyao gazed at the entrance of the villa, softly murmuring, lost in contemplation. Yao Yao, happy birthday. A congratulatory voice broke her reverie. Turning to see Chan Ziki approaching, she raised her glass in a toast. Thank you, Sister Ziki. You look truly beautiful tonight. As radiant as you, my little princess. Chun Ziki replied with a playful sip of red wine, her gaze wandering, somewhat distracted. Meanwhile, at the entrance of the Chu family's villa, a chorus of gasps echoed. Chu Mingyao and Chen Ziki glanced in that direction. A young man clad in a crisp white suit strode in with an air of confidence, flanked by boisterous bodyguards announcing, Young Master M.O. Bai of the M.O. family from Jiangnan County has arrived. Chapter 370. A calamity approaches the Chu family. Jiangnan County? Young Master M.O. Bai? How did he come from the M.O. family? Why would a prominent heir from Jiangnan County appear in Tianhai City, especially at the birthday banquet of the chairman's daughter? Could it be that Chairman Chu was deliberately using this occasion to showcase his connections? Upon hearing this, the illustrious guests at the banquet began to murmur amongst themselves. Be it Tianhai City or the neighboring Tianyu City, along with several surrounding locales, all belonged to Jiangnan County. The M.O. family was among the most distinguished families in Jiangnan County, existing on an entirely different level from the affluent families of Tianhai City. Their influence and background immeasurably superior. M.O. Bai, a scion of the distinguished M.O. family from Jiangnan, has recently emerged as the most prominent heir. Rumors abound that he is destined to inherit the position of family head. What does this entail? It is akin to a high-ranking official making an unexpected visit to a humble town, a gesture of condescension that leaves one momentarily disoriented. The arrival of young Master M.O. Bai truly illuminates our modest abode. Chu Tianpeng, eager to greet him, approached with a sense of curiosity, though the reason for such a notable figure attending his daughter's birthday celebration eluded him. Nonetheless, he could not neglect the pleasantries. Step aside. Do not obstruct young Master S' path, a bodyguard accompanying M.O. Bai coldly asserted, pushing Chu Tianpeng aside with an abrupt shove. The impeccably dressed M.O. Bai, tall and imposing, disregarded the surrounding presence and made his way directly to Chu Mingyao, a faint smile gracing his lips. Mingyao, happy birthday. Thank you for your wishes, young Master Mo. Chu Mingyao replied, her heart sinking with an unsettling feeling. Although she was uncomfortable with M.O. Bai's arrogant demeanor, the weight of his background deterred her from offending him. She could only respond in a subdued manner. Mingyao, I had the fortune of meeting you when you represented Tianhai University at the Jiangnan Cultural Competition. I wonder if you recall that moment? I was utterly captivated, and since then, I have been unable to think of anything else. Will you be mine? M.O. Bai attempted to take her hand, but when she recoiled, he remained unperturbed, exuding confidence. If you become my woman, no one in Tianhai City would dare to mistreat you. The Chu family's status will undergo a remarkable transformation, and your father will attain wealth, power, and prestige he never dared to dream of. M.O. Bai's declaration left all the guests present utterly astounded. What a spectacle! The young master of the M.O. family had come to court the eldest daughter of the Chu family. Such a romantic gesture. If word of this were to spread, it could become a legendary tale. Moreover, with the M.O. family's protection, who would dare to disrespect Chu Tianpeng in Tianhai City? Rumor has it that not long ago, Chu Tianpeng's company faced some troubling issues, with board members pressuring him. If this news were to leak, those who had wronged him might find themselves scrambling in the middle of the night to apologize. Should Chu Mingyao accept M.O. Bai's proposal, it would be no exaggeration to say that the Chu family would soar to new heights. However, unexpectedly, Chu Mingyao did not waver in the face of his sudden confession. After a moment of contemplation, she spoke with genuine remorse. Young master, you do not truly know me. We have not interacted much, and your approach seems rather hasty. Had this been an ordinary suitor, Chu Mingyao would have swiftly rejected such an abrupt declaration. Yet, facing M.O. Bai, the illustrious heir of the Mo family. A figure towering over all the prominent families of Tianhai City, she dared not offend him excessively and could only decline with utmost caution and subtlety. In this realm, the esteemed elites appear as insignificant as mere ants before Mo Bai. Even the Chu family, standing behind the Mo family, is but a fleeting mayfly in comparison. Perhaps, young Master Mo, you may be unfamiliar with me, but once you come to know me, you may not find me to your liking, for I am burdened with many flaws. Chu Mingyao, feeling flustered, noticed the smile fade from Mo Bai's countenance and hastily began to defend herself. How audacious! What do you mean by that? The burly bodyguard, with a stern expression, bellowed. It is a privilege for you that our young master has taken an interest in you. How dare you speak so disrespectfully? Do you not regard the Mo family? Calm down, please. Chu Tianpeng interjected, terrified, and rushed forward to explain, my daughter already has someone she cherishes. Otherwise, how could she possibly reject young Master Mo's affections? Oh, she already has a beloved? Mo Bai scoffed, the corners of his mouth curling upwards. Who is it? I am intrigued to know who in Tianhai City dares to claim my woman. It is Qin Lang from the Qin family, Chu Tianpeng murmured. Averting his gaze from Mo Bai's penetrating stare, he understood that his own status was trivial in Mo Bai's eyes, rendering any words futile. To safeguard his daughter, he had to invoke the Qin family's name. Their standing was not on par with the Mo family, yet the Qin family was a true behemoth, originating from the heart of the Dragon Kingdom. Even the illustrious Mo family of Jiangnan County must bow to its might. Even high-ranking officials dare not offend the Qin family. Furthermore, Qin Lang is the sole direct heir of the Qin family. Qin family S. Qin Lang? Mo Bai furrowed his brow, deep in thought. A bodyguard beside him quietly reminded, he is the young master of the capital's Qin family, reputed to be a notorious wastrel, yet he is the future sole heir. You are Qin Lang's woman? Mo Bai fixed his cold gaze upon Chu Mingyao, demanding an answer. Chu Tianpeng, with his head bowed, repeatedly cast furtive glances at his daughter. However, Chu Mingyao, burdened by her own considerations, had yet to affirm the claim. Suddenly, the bodyguard delivered a forceful kick to Chu Tianpeng's waist, sending him crashing to the ground, and reprimanded loudly, young master is inquiring. Why are you feigning ignorance? Do you think I am blind? Chu Tianpeng, how dare you harbor ill intentions before young master? Do you believe my master unworthy of your daughter? With that, he kicked Chu Tianpeng in the stomach once more. He was aware of Qin Lang's status, yet in the present circumstances, it seemed that Qin Lang's connection to the Chu family was tenuous at best, merely a shield to deflect attention, without the deterrent of the Qin family. The Chu family was inconsequential before a bodyguard of Mo Bai, despite being merely a protector, held a status far beyond that of a mere merchant like Chu Tianpeng. Do not make me signal you again. The bodyguard let out a cold snort, mercilessly stomping down on Chu Tianpeng, whose already fragile body became increasingly pitiful. He gasped in pain, his mouth agape, hands clutching his chest, resembling a wretched stray dog. Stop! Please, don't hit him anymore. Chu Mingyao cried out in anguish, rushing to her father's side, using her own body to shield him from further unwarranted harm. Despite her terror, she could hardly fathom the depths of Mo Bai's depravity, as he brazenly incited his bodyguard to strike in public. Was there no justice in this world? Mingyao, do not involve yourself in the affairs of these brutish men, Mo Bai commanded, forcibly pulling Chu Mingyao away from her father. In a tone laden with authority, he continued, if you agree to be my woman, I assure you that your father will no longer suffer such senseless misfortune, and you will enjoy unprecedented status and power in the future. You are truly shameless. Chu Mingyao clenched her silver teeth, her gaze fixed on the tall, handsome man before her, filled with revulsion and fear. What manner of family could raise such an arrogant descendant? Did the Mo family truly regard the lives of others as inconsequential? Master Miss, a voice called out. This was the Chu family, and naturally, there would be guards arranged to maintain order at the banquet. Upon witnessing Chu Tianpeng's dire condition, the Chu family's guards rushed forward, launching an attack against Mo Bai's personal bodyguard. Chu Tianpeng was no ordinary man. His background was impressive, and the family guards had been meticulously selected, each fiercely loyal, ready to lay down their lives. One by one, they charged at Mo Bai's bodyguard, each strike executed with lethal intent. Foolish and reckless, the burly man scoffed, seizing the fist of one Chu family guard charging at him. With a swift twist, he snapped the guard's arm with a sickening crack. yanking him forward and delivering a powerful kick that echoed with the sound of shattering bones. The guard flew backward, collapsing to the ground like a lifeless dog, convulsing a few times before falling still, devoid of life. The man's speed was astonishing. Within just 5 breaths, he had dispatched all 5 of the Chu family's guards. Murder. The guests at the banquet stood frozen, too frightened to even breathe, their faces reflecting sheer terror. Some kind-hearted women opened their mouths to speak, but were silenced by the men beside them, who whispered urgently, "Are you trying to get us killed? These are MO family members. Dare you utter a word of mercy, and we may share their fate. Stop this at once." Witnessing the gruesome scene, Chun Ziki rushed forward, shouting at the hulking man, simultaneously launching a grappling move toward him. The burly man merely cast a fleeting glance before swatting away Chun Ziki's outstretched arm with a dismissive gesture, letting out a cold laugh. A mere restraining technique dares to assert itself in my presence? Chun Ziki, cradling her painfully throbbing arm, bit her lip in defiance. I am a representative of Tianhai City. Even the MO family shouldn't resort to public murder. Isn't that a bit excessive? Excessive? The man chuckled heartily. With Master MO by present and the MO family backing him, who would dare utter a word of dissent, even if it meant extinguishing a few heads among the guards at their waist? As for annihilating the entire Chu family, who would dare voice an objection? The eminent figures of Tianhai gathered here? If they dared to leak even a whisper of what transpired, they would face catastrophic repercussions within a day. This is the MO family. In Tianhai, they are an absolute behemoth. Let me go, you bastard. Release me. Chu Mingyao struggled in agony, her delicate, fair wrist turning pale and red beneath MO Bai's brute force. Just as she saw MO Bai's other hand reaching for her waist, a surge of defiance propelled her to slap him across the face. You dare strike me? MO Bai, clutching his cheek, glared at Chu Mingyao with a furrowed brow, his heart boiling with murderous intent. He glanced at the bodyguard beside him. The sins of the father would fall upon the son. Since Miss Chu was so uncooperative, her father would pay the price. Indeed, the burly man understood the implication, his eyes glinting with malice as he focused on Chu Tianpeng, a murderous intent brewing within him. He raised his foot, aiming at Chu Tianpeng's head, slowly pressing down as if crushing an ant. Regardless of how vigorously Chu Tianpeng struggled beneath the weight of the shoe on his face, the strength of this man was overwhelming, far beyond what a middle-aged Chu Tianpeng could contend with. In pain, his face flushed, he reached out toward his daughter. Yao Yao. It was not fear he felt, but a sense of reluctance and resentment. Why had this calamity fallen upon them? Chu Tianpeng had never committed any wrongdoing. Why must the Chu family endure such torment? Get away from me. Chun Ziki roared in fury, resembling a feral cat in her reckless assault against the burly man, employing every skill she possessed, even resorting to bodily force. Yet, how could her prowess possibly compete with that of a bodyguard from the MO family? Were it not for the man's concern that his young master might take a liking to Chun Ziki's striking beauty, he would have already resorted to lethal measures, rather than allowing her to create chaos. Stay out of matters that do not concern you. Be obedient. The burly man sent Chun Ziki flying with a slap, then delivered a brutal kick to Chu Tianpeng's abdomen, causing him to gasp in agony. The man had no intention of wasting any more time. He raised his foot to deliver a fatal blow. At that moment, a commanding voice rang out from the entrance. Stop right there. Junzi's furious reprimand echoed, as Qin Lang gradually stepped into view behind him. It's young Master Qin. He has arrived. Gasps of astonishment rippled through the guests as they realized the Chu family had been saved. Upon witnessing the scene, MO Bai involuntarily tightened his grip, simultaneously furrowing his brow at the bodyguard. The burly man understood the unspoken cue. Regardless of whether Qin Lang had arrived, he continued to bring his foot down. Chapter 371. Arriving in good spirits, leaving unscathed, what audacity. In an instant, Junzi moved from the doorway to stand before Chu Tianpeng, unleashing a sweeping kick with a ferocity that struck the bodyguard's knee. With a sickening crack, accompanied by the man's muffled grunt, he was sent sprawling under the force of the blow. Before my esteemed young master, how dare you exhibit such bravado? Junzi's expression was stern as he glared at the bodyguard who was now struggling to rise. To his surprise, this bodyguard was no pushover. That kick had shattered the man's leg, yet he still managed to stand. Young master. The bodyguard stood beside MO Bai, his complexion pale, guilt washing over him as he felt he had brought shame upon his master for being so easily defeated in a single exchange. MO Bai waved a hand, refraining from reprimanding his subordinate. Instead, He turned his gaze towards the approaching Qin Lang, a faint smile gracing his lips. Mr. Qin, it has indeed been a long time. You remain as striking as ever. Acquainted with Qin Lang? Nonsense. He had never even laid eyes upon him. However, one could not be oblivious to the shadows cast by such a prominent figure. Furthermore, given Qin Lang's noble status, it was prudent to exhibit a degree of courtesy. Qin Lang chuckled, observing Mo Bai's self-absorbed chatter, sensing a hint of disquiet. Was he now the target of needless provocation? Or was this merely the eldest son of the Mo family from Jiangnan County? Who was the Mo family, one might ask, and where had Jiangnan County emerged from? Previously, he had never heard of cities like Tianhai and Tianyu being part of Jiangnan County. Even the Western Demon-Slaying Society and the Shadow Alliance he encountered with Kalan were not characters that should have appeared in this narrative. Yet now, they all seemed to emerge one after another. Qin Lang, save me. Chu Mingyao cried out, her wrist clenched painfully as she turned toward Qin Lang in desperation. She could no longer concern herself with any past grievances with him. All she craved was to distance herself from Mo Bai. It was not just fear, but a profound sense of revulsion that compelled her. Mr. Qin, your presence here cannot be merely to confront me over the Chu family's young lady. Can it? We are all here for enjoyment. Surely a semblance of respect is warranted? This young lady from the Chu family should not be of significant concern to you, should she? Montak Bai chuckled lightly. The Zhao family of the capital is related by marriage to my Mo family. Zhao Kai, a remarkable youth of the Zhao family, is my cousin, as his older brother. I trust you are acquainted with young Kai, Mr. Qin? The Qin family, without a doubt, was a colossal entity in Longwa's capital. Likewise, the Zhao family was undeniably a formidable presence, both being prominent families in the capital. Even Qin Lang could not afford to disregard the Zhao family standing. Mo Bai's words and demeanor seemed to serve as counsel, yet they bore the weight of revealing his cards, even bordering on a threat. Qin Lang clicked his tongue, observing Mo Bai firmly gripping Chu Mingyao's hand, and shook his head. Are you truly unwilling to let go? Must you cling to her so tenaciously? Although his relationship with Chu Mingyao had not reached that level, it was not as if he desired her to be exclusively his. After all, she was the fated daughter of luck within Chun Pingin's narrative. The coveted 50,000 points of villainous destiny had yet to be secured. Even for the sake of that fortune, he could not allow Mo Bai to take her away. Truly, it was an affront. Come here. Qin Lang beckoned to Chu Mingyao. As he witnessed her struggle, with Mo Bai still clutching her wrist tightly, he had no choice but to approach her himself. Young Master Qin, please. A burly man staggered forward, attempting to obstruct Qin Lang's path. Yet, Junzi had never encountered such a scenario. How could a mere bodyguard dare stand in front of his young master? One audacious display. With a powerful lunge, Junzi used his shoulder to crash into the man's chest. A sickening crunch echoed as the man's ribcage caved in, blood gushing from his mouth. He flew back like a deflated balloon, colliding with a champagne tower and crashing to the ground, where shattered glass and spilled liquor created a chaotic scene. The man flopped about like a fish out of water, struggling for breath before ultimately succumbing. Observing this, Junzi coldly snorted, hastily distancing himself from Qin Lang. Debts must be repaid, and one must pay for bloodshed. He sought his own demise. This is a matter for the public authorities. Keep your eyes open. He brandished an identification badge, scanning the surroundings while crossing his arms, as if to assert that this act of violence had no connection to Qin Lang. What a remarkable display of cunning. Indeed, young Master Qin's methods were anything but ordinary. Mo Bai released his grip on Chu Mingyao's wrist, allowing her to rush to Qin Lang's side. He clapped his hands in admiration. Now that you've dispatched my man and freed Chu Mingyao, I wonder if I might now take my leave? What do you think? Qin Lang chuckled, his gaze fixed on the hand that had once held Chu Mingyao. Undeterred, Mo Bai maintained his composure, exuding confidence. Young Master Qin, it would be prudent not to push matters too far. While the Qin family holds power, the Dragon Kingdom is not solely governed by your clan. The Zhao family is no less formidable than yours. And let us not forget my own Mo family. Are you truly prepared to wage war against both the Mo and Zhao families? At that moment, a squad of guards clad in county military uniforms rushed in, forming a protective barrier around Mo Bai. This contingent, exceeding 30 in number, consisted of elite warriors meticulously selected for Mo Bai's protection, each capable of holding their own against multiple adversaries. Upon their arrival, Mo Bai felt no need for further words. He simply turned to leave, seemingly harboring resentment and unwilling to face Qin Lang any longer. Did I permit you to leave? Kinlang remarked coolly, standing not far away. Junzi witnessed the grim scene of murder. The few who had perished here were inextricably linked to him. He strode forward with an air of authority, challenging the notion that he, as a man of the public, was merely a bystander. Like a ferocious tiger, he surged toward the county guard, moving with incredible speed and immense strength, capable of sending a guard in uniform flying several meters with a single punch. A powerful kick could rattle a guard's innards, nearly provoking a spout of blood. Had he not held back, all the guards would have met their demise in less than 10 breaths. The number of guards standing before M.O. Bai had dwindled from over 30 to fewer than 10. The esteemed young master of the M.O. family certainly lived up to his reputation, shielded as he was by the county guard. What audacity did ordinary criminals possess to dare approach the county guard? It was said that each member was meticulously selected. One could stand there, and ordinary individuals with considerable strength would not dare come near. Alas, they had encountered Qin Shao. Truly, the bodyguard beside Qin Shao were fearsome, cutting through the opposition with the ease of chopping vegetables. Guests began to whisper amongst themselves, marveling at the prowess of the guards surrounding the scion of a prominent family. Powers unmatched by mere wealthy individuals. However, just as it seemed Junzi could charge forth unchecked to seize M.O. Bai, an unexpected turn of events unfolded. Among the county guards, a singular figure, strikingly out of place, advanced toward Junzi, brandishing two bloodied blades resembling a demon of sorts. You are not one of the county guards. After exchanging blows a dozen times without subduing the opponent, Junzi furrowed his brow. A Rakshasa? The injured Chinziki gasped in terror. The Rakshasa was notorious in Jiangnan County, a savage criminal responsible for heinous acts that had drawn the ire of the authorities, leading to powerful crackdowns and even the involvement of rumored organizations in pursuit. This was beyond the jurisdiction of an ordinary precinct. She had merely heard tales and seen some of the brutal outcomes. Later, when the name Rakshasa vanished from the wanted list, she assumed the villain had met his end. Little did she know he had survived, even entangled with the guards of the young master of the M.O. family. No wonder he could erase his name from the list. It was due to the M.O. family's machinations. What a formidable background and audacious tactics. Brother, are you taking this too far? My young master merely wishes to leave this place. He means no great harm, nor does he threaten your master's life. Is it truly necessary to cling to him so desperately? Let us not escalate this. We are merely individuals doing our jobs. No need for such perilous devotion. As he spoke, the Rakshasa licked the bloody blades in his hands and grinned maliciously. To hell with your life. I am a man of the public. Blood must be repaid with blood. You think you could just walk away? Junzi unleashed a torrent of curses. Did he think to force him into a slip of the tongue? Ridiculous. A professional bodyguard, when it comes to taking a life, would never allow himself to be implicated with his young master in any capacity. Even with a powerful background to shield him, one must still guard against family rivals who might exploit the situation to tarnish the young master's reputation. When Junzi strikes, he does so with lethal intent. He shows no mercy when confronted by a heinous criminal notorious for his misdeeds. With a single punch that resonates like a sonic boom, he compresses the very air around him with astonishing speed. His leg lashes out, leaving behind a series of afterimages, as if a multitude of legs were simultaneously delivering kicks at different intervals. For an ordinary county guard, a single blow would spell doom. They would hardly stand a chance in such a confrontation. However, this Rakshasa possesses formidable strength and cruel tactics. Having once been the focus of a manhunt by a notorious organization, even Junzi feels the need to tread carefully, wary of potential missteps. M.O. Shao, you should leave. This fellow cannot subdue me at this moment. The Rakshasa called out to M.O. Bai, turning to Junzi with a confident grin. If I wish to depart, no one here can stop me. Go. M.O. Bai retorted with a cold snort, urging his guard onward. He felt that tonight marked one of the most humiliating moments of his life. Having come with such conviction, he failed to secure Chu Mingyao, and now he was on the verge of being left behind himself. A profound disgrace. Qin Lang? The Qin family? Even they lacked the clout to force him to endure this indignity. As for Qin Lang, he vows that one day he will exact his revenge. Yet, these matters require careful deliberation. He must at least consult with the Zhao family brothers. His own strength is still insufficient. It is troubling to be thwarted so easily. Qin Lang appeared behind Junzi, patting him on the shoulder and gesturing towards M.O. Bai's departing figure with a nod of his chin. Junzi understood, sighed inwardly, and promptly turned to chase after M.O. Bai. The Rakshasa attempted to intervene, but was intercepted by Qin Lang. Qin Shao, have you lost your mind? You think you can stop me? The Rakshasa sneered, pointing his bloody blade towards Qin Lang's head. Qin Lang remained unfazed. You can certainly try. Huh. The Rakshasa chuckled coldly. I am quite curious what sort of revenge would ensue from eliminating the young master of the Qin family. Even if I sever ties with the Mo family, I desire to satiate this curiosity. The Rakshasa's peculiar inclinations had led him to commit unimaginable atrocities. Fixated on Qin Lang, he was already consumed by murderous intent. The bloody blade concealed behind him, he moved like a stealthy assassin, his posture oddly discordant. Qin Lang, be careful. You must flee. Chu Mingyao and Qin Ziki shouted in alarm. They were utterly astonished, unable to comprehend that Qin Lang intended to confront the Rakshasa alone. Was he courting death? And what of Junzi? Had he lost his senses, allowing his master to face a merciless killer unaccompanied? As the Rakshasa advanced towards Qin Lang, poised to strike with his bloody blade, an eerie voice echoed through the villa's living room. Hey, haha, hee. The eerie sound emerged abruptly, only to vanish just as swiftly. Yet, once the echo by his ear dissipated, the Rakshasa stood motionless before Qin Lang, barely half a meter away. Cough, cough. A coarse, gurgling sound escaped the Rakshasa's lips, reminiscent of a cough. Shortly thereafter, a thin line of crimson appeared at his neck, gradually deepening in hue and widening the wound. With a soft thud, within 3 breaths, the Rakshasa's head fell backward, and his entire body crashed rigidly onto the floor at the entrance. He was beyond dead. Has someone come? Qin Lang mused with a hint of amusement, pondering that if one could not discern who had struck just moments ago, they might as well find a slab of tofu to dash their head against. He had initially intended to act himself, never anticipating that Su Chan would be lurking nearby. The key was that Su Chan harbored no murderous intent toward him, and her formidable strength had not triggered his advanced crisis perception. Had it not been for her recent strike, he might not have noticed her presence at all. However, upon reflection, he found it understandable. This woman now possessed an almost obsessive fixation on him, tracking him with a logic that bordered on the unexpected. He was just a bit curious about how she had managed to slip away from Luo Qingyu and Ning Qianqian's watchful eyes. Young master, the person has been brought, Junzi announced as he dragged Mo by before Qin Lang, pulling him from his reverie. Qin Lang, you cannot treat me this way. I am the young master of the Mo family, the future heir. Although the Mo family may not rival the Qin family, you must still consider our feelings. My mother hails from the Zhao family. I am the grandson of the Zhao family patriarch. Even the Qin family must weigh the power behind my lineage. Mo Bai bellowed, his voice hoarse and desperate. He had lost all dignity, yet at this juncture, he showed no signs of remorse. Qin Lang clicked his tongue, incredulous. Do you truly believe I fear the Mo family? Or do you think that if I were to kill you, the Zhao family would act against me? A direct heir of the Qin family, for the sake of a mere grandson? Mo Bai's eyes darted wildly, as if he had grasped something profound. He shouted the guests in the living room. What are you all staring at? Get out. If you don't leave, I swear, every single one of you will die. Hearing this, the spectators, who had been eagerly watching, muttered curses under their breath as they exited. Even witnessing Mo Bai's dire predicament, they dared not offend him. If he survived, their fates would be sealed. Qin Lang, feeling exasperated, waved dismissively at Junzi. Terrified, Mo Bai trembled and collapsed to his knees before Qin Lang. There are too many people in the room. I kneel before you now. Chapter 373. Scholar of the Qin family, Junzi stood in a daze, watching Mo Bai kneel on the ground, feeling that it was all rather sudden. It was utterly absurd. How could the young master of the Mo family so readily submit? He was nothing like the arrogant figure from before. Qin Xiao, I realize my mistakes now. I truly had no idea that Chu Mingyao was the woman you coveted. Otherwise, even if you lend me a dozen of your courage, I would never have dared to interfere. Mo Bai was consumed by profound regret, pleading with Qin Xiao for mercy, assuring him that should he be spared this time, he would never again oppose him. He offered his unwavering loyalty for any future needs in Jiangnan County, promising to serve him faithfully. With the death of his bodyguard and the devastation of the county guard, even the fierce Luo Sha had been slain. Mo Bai found himself devoid of any protective forces. To continue opposing Qin Xiao would be tantamount to courting death. In a desperate bid for survival, he was compelled to bow his head and admit his fault. Chu Tianpeng, trembling with fear, stepped forward, his face a mask of anguish. Qin Xiao, perhaps we should let this matter rest? Despite the humiliation his daughter nearly faced and his own battered state, he knew the harsh reality. The Mo family was a prominent clan in Jiangnan County, and a single command from them could lead to the swift demise of the Chu family, devoured by the lurking vultures. Better to avoid trouble than to confront it, especially when escape was still an option. Qin Lang, spare him, Chu Mingyao said, her small fists clenched in anger, cursing Mo by in her heart. She yearned to strike him, yet the awareness of his powerful background held her back. Are you instructing me on how to act? Qin Lang turned to regard the Chu father and daughter, a derisive smile gracing his lips. I was wrong, truly wrong, Mo Bai stammered, kneeling in terror, his head bowing repeatedly like a pestle against garlic. Yet alas, he failed to retain even a shred of dignity. With a cold laugh, Qin Lang raised his hand and struck Mo Bai's head, ending his life on the spot. Clean this place up. Upon your return, inform the Mo family that the Chu family is under my protection. Should they entertain any thoughts of revenge, let them contemplate the consequences. The surviving members of the county guard, still trembling with fear, dared not challenge Qin Lang. They could only lower their heads and carry away the corpses of Mo Bai and his companions. Their arrival had been hasty, and their departure just as swift. Had it not been for the few bodies of Chu family guards still lying there, one might have wondered what transpired. You killed him? That was Mo Bai, a scion of one of the most distinguished families in Jiangnan County. Mo Bai held a high position within the Mo family, and they had even shielded the heinous Luo Sha to bolster his security. This will drive the Mo family into madness. Chun Ziki spoke, torn between relief and anxiety, uncertain whether her concerns stemmed from genuine worry or disapproval of Qin Lang's ruthless decisiveness. Qin Lang turned to her, his gaze penetrating. Chun Ziki felt a chill run down her spine and found herself compelled to explain. He has already knelt and apologized. This matter should end here. A lesson is sufficient. After all, you said he lacks any spine. Qin Lang smirked disdainfully. To bend and to yield. This is the esteemed Mo family's eldest son, and he kneels at a whim. Do you truly believe that reflects a lack of spirit? If I were to release him today, I can only wonder how many hidden schemes would follow. Conversely, by eliminating him, the Mo family's actions will become cautious. Even the mightiest family would hesitate to act recklessly before the Qin family in the capital. To call him spineless merely ensures Mo Bai dies with unfulfilled resentment. Do you truly believe that? Moreover, Qin Lang refrained from speaking excessively, merely casting a glance at Chu Mingyao's wrist, which was whitened from being grasped. The implications were clear without utterance. It was I who had miscalculated. Chun Ziki sighed, feeling a certain disquiet within. The integrity and fairness she once revered appeared utterly ludicrous in the face of such a prominent family. Today, had Qin Lang not intervened, one could easily surmise the dire fate that awaited Chu Mingyao. Furthermore, Mo Bai might not even receive the punishment he deserved. Such is the might of a powerful family. It is akin to an invisible net, ensnaring all notions of justice and equity, permitting not a single ray of sunlight to penetrate. In confronting this, only blood can be repaid with blood, and an eye for an eye must prevail. Perhaps Qin Lang's approach was indeed the correct one. He departed, eliminating Mo Bai posed no significant trouble for Qin Lang. Yet, a nagging unease began to stir within him. Matters were becoming increasingly precarious. With the emergence of the Shadow Alliance and the Western Demon Extermination Society, now another formidable entity had appeared, the Mo family of Jiangnan County. What manner of trickery is this? It has no connection whatsoever to Chun Fan. Is the narrative of the next act arriving prematurely? Or perhaps, following the demise of Chun Pingon within Chu Mingyao's storyline, her identity as the daughter of fortune has drawn the attention of other antagonists. This could become troublesome, Qin Lang mused, yet there was little apprehension, only a sense of release. Some events, when not adhering to the script, seemed less distasteful to him. On the contrary, they added an element of unpredictability, rendering certain individuals in real life vividly alive. This is what life should be. This is the essence of true living. This is the embodiment of humanity. If, after the conclusion of a narrative, no further events transpire, what difference is there between that and a marionette? In his contemplations, Qin Lang had already taken several steps away, while Chu Mingyao observed anxiously from behind. After such a significant occurrence, would he not utter a single word to her? Or had her previous actions crossed a line with Qin Lang? After this encounter, would there be no possibility for them moving forward? Do not go. Panic seized Chu Mingyao's heart as she hurriedly ran, her long skirt trailing behind her. She rushed up from behind and tightly embraced Qin Lang. Pressing her cheek against his back, she clung to him with all her might, unwilling to release her hold. Please don't leave me. Tonight is my birthday. Will you stay with me for a while? Miss Chu, I am but a scholar. Such embraces may not be entirely appropriate, Qin Lang remarked, attempting to pry her arms from around him. Chu Mingyao felt a whirlwind of emotions. She knew all too well that resentment lingered in Qin Lang's heart. Yet, at this moment, if she were to let him leave, what reason would there be for them to meet again in the future? No, I want to let go. Please don't go, don't leave, she implored. I acknowledge my past mistakes. I should not have held a grudge against you, nor should I have deliberately sought to trouble you. However, I am merely angry. It seems you are more concerned about the feelings of other girls, showing little regard for my own emotions. I shall amend my ways and refrain from sulking or feeling jealous. Please don't leave me, all right? I think I might have already developed feelings for you. Chapter 374. The sharp-tongued Chunziki Ahem. I have a matter to attend to, so I must take my leave. Upon noticing this, Chu Tianpeng quickly sought an excuse to withdraw. Mr. Chu, if there is anything I can assist with, I am at your service. The considerate Junzi seized the opportunity to lend a helping hand and hurriedly followed suit. Only Chunziki remained rooted to the spot. Chu Mingyao felt a flush of embarrassment, her cheeks turning crimson. Yet, she was oblivious to the gazes around her. All she could think about was that if she did not make an effort, Qin Lang would depart from her life forever. She rose on her tiptoes and, with determination, planted a kiss on the side of Qin Lang's face. Miss Chu, please conduct yourself with decorum. Although misunderstandings may exist between us, it is best to proceed slowly. After all, one must maintain a sense of propriety in public. Qin Lang turned, extending a hand and offering a calm word of comfort. Chunziki watched from behind, scoffing derisively. You call this decorum? After just a few exchanged words, you have already become so familiar? Do you think I'm blind, or are you simply unable to restrain yourself from getting too close to Yao Yao? What sort of behavior is this? She glared at Qin Lang's hand as it rested on Chu Mingyao's waist, rolling her eyes in disdain. Sister Ziki, feeling somewhat shy yet too timid to evade Qin Lang's touch. She curled up in his embrace, like a helpless little rabbit, surrendering to his whims. Perhaps in the past, she had been overly presumptuous, believing that all boys should be polite and refined. In reality, any boy with a hint of confidence would either be domineering or arrogant, showing little regard for a girl's feelings. She used to think Qin Lang was excessive, audacious, and somewhat shameless. Yet today, witnessing Mo Bai's behavior, she abruptly realized that her previous concerns were mere figments of her imagination. If the young master of the Mo family could act so tyrannically, disregarding her opinions and indulging himself freely, how much more so would Qin Lang, the young master of the Qin family? In contrast, Qin Lang's conduct was remarkably benevolent. Miss Chun, I have long been aware of your sharp tongue, but I never expected it to remain unchanged even now. Qin Lang teased, fixating on Chunziki's luscious lips. How can matters of the heart be reduced to mere embraces? You heard what Yao Yao said. It is a mutual affection we share. He had already cast his line towards Chu Mingyao, whether through preferential treatment or subtle hints, all signifying his bias. He awaited her to willingly embrace him. Now that Chu Mingyao had taken a bait, did he still need to let her flounder in the water a little longer? He could, but it was unnecessary. Sister Ziki, I shall change my attire for a moment. Later, let us share a cake in my room together, shall we? The guests in the living room have all been frightened away. What was meant to be a joyous birthday celebration has turned into an exceedingly dismal affair. However, the necessary proceedings must still be observed, for the rift between her and Qin Lang has been mended, warranting a celebration. Having spoken, she planted a gentle kiss on Qin Lang's cheek, grasped the flowing hem of her red dress, and hurriedly ascended the stairs. After a considerable time spent in her bedroom, she heard some peculiar noises emanating from the restroom and approached, tilting her head to listen closely. Inside, she discerned a gurgling sound, reminiscent of someone retching. Curiosity piqued. She knocked on the door and inquired, Sister Ziki, what are you doing in there? Are you feeling unwell? No, nothing at all. Chun Ziki replied in a flustered manner. Sister Ziki, are you all right? Let me check. Chu Mingyao felt a twinge of anxiety. Their friendship had always been strong, and now, faced with the likes of Mo Bai, Sister Ziki had bravely stood up for her. This bond of camaraderie would forever be etched in her heart. I'm truly fine, just overindulged in drink and food. Feeling a bit queasy. I'll be all right once I expel it. It's quite unpleasant, so please don't come in, Chunziki explained in a disjointed manner. Despite her concerns, Chu Mingyao understood that such a disgraceful situation ought not to be exposed to others, so she merely nodded in response. Very well. I shall wait for you in the bedroom. After exiting the restroom, she wandered downstairs, noticing that even the bodies of the Chu family guards had been cleared away. Yet she found no trace of Qin Lang. With curiosity, she stepped outside the villa, scanning the courtyard, where she spotted her father discussing matters at the entrance and Junzi assisting nearby. She approached and asked, "Have you seen Qin Lang? Young Master Qin hasn't come out? Is he not in the house?" Zhu Tian Pen Zipli Pu Dao. Chu Mingyao shook her head. "He is not here. Sister Ziki has had too much to drink and is in the restroom. There is no sign of Qin Lang inside the villa." With a quick thought, Junzi gestured towards the villa's backyard. "I just saw the young master heading that way. Perhaps he is searching for the formidable individual who eliminated the Rakshasa earlier." No sooner had he spoken than Qin Lang emerged from the backyard, appearing nonchalant as he wrapped his arm around Chu Mingyao's slender waist. "Why are you out here? Shouldn't we be returning to enjoy the cake? Have you found anyone? Who is this remarkable person, your bodyguard?" Chu Mingyao's curiosity bubbled up. But realizing her question was somewhat probing, she quickly added, "If there is a chance next time, please introduce me. I must express my gratitude to this sister." "Certainly." Qin Lang nodded, leading Chu Mingyao back into the villa, striding towards her bedroom. Inside her quaint yet charmingly decorated room, a small table was set beside the bed, adorned with an exquisite cake topped with lit candles. At that moment, Chun Ziki walked in, her cheeks flushed, occasionally covering her mouth, resembling a girl suffering from a hangover. Her eyes slightly red, undoubtedly having choked on something. Chu Mingyao closed her eyes, silently making a wish before extinguishing the candle. She cut a piece of cake and first handed it to Qin Lang, then cut another piece for Chun Ziki, expressing her gratitude. "Sister Ziki, thank you so much for tonight. I'm truly delighted to have you as my sister, and I hope we can always stay together. You must have felt terrible just now. Your stomach must be empty. Eating a bit of cake might ease the discomfort." "I don't want to eat. I'm full." Chun Ziki shot a glare at Qin Lang, her annoyance palpable. She couldn't fathom how he dared to follow her into the bathroom. Did he not fear being discovered? Even when Chu Mingyao knocked on the door, he seemed unfazed, as if it only fueled his audacity. That infuriating man. Chun Ziki felt a surge of anger. Under Chu Mingyao's hopeful gaze, she reluctantly opened her mouth, suppressing the fiery sensation in her already full stomach, and took small bites of the cake. After finishing, she contemplated finding an excuse to leave. However, Qin Lang approached her, extending another piece of cake with an apologetic smile, saying, "Miss Chun, I sincerely apologize. Earlier, I mentioned that you were sharp-tongued, and after much reflection, I realized I was the one being impudent. Please accept this cake as a token of my contrition." Chun Ziki's captivating eyes widened in disbelief, her teeth clenched in frustration. "You are the sharp-tongued one. Your entire family is sharp-tongued." Chu Mingyao hurriedly intervened. "Sister Ziki, please don't be angry. Qin Lang is apologizing, after all." With pursed lips, Chun Ziki stared at Chu Mingyao for a long moment, her fists tightly clenched. She longed to rebuke Qin Lang for his misdeeds, yet found herself at a loss for words. Was that truly an apology? It felt more like provocation. She wished she could retort with equal sharpness. Glaring fiercely in Qin Lang's direction, she gritted her teeth. Just then, a notification pinged from Chun Ziki's phone, prompting her to check the message, her brow furrowing in concern. "Yao Yao, I have some urgent business to attend to. I must return," she said softly, a hint of embarrassment in her voice, then shot another glare at Qin Lang, the meaning unmistakable. "Since Sister Ziki has matters to attend to, you should go ahead," Chu Mingyao said politely, casting a discreet glance at Qin Lang, standing nearby. Whether early or late, Chun Ziki had to leave. Remaining here would only cause discomfort. "I won't insist you stay. This matter concerns you as well. The news of the young Master Mo's demise has already drawn some attention," Chun Ziki remarked. Though she had initially ceased to dwell on the incident involving Qin Lang and Mo Bai, the earlier encounter reignited her resentment, providing an opportunity for her to vent. "Why don't you take me with you?" Qin Lang extended his hands, a playful smirk gracing his lips as he gazed at Chun Ziki. He was not averse to accompanying her. The silver bracelet would be in his possession on the way, but by the time they arrived, it would be uncertain who would wear it or where it would be secured. "I never said I would take you away, but I certainly won't lie for you." Chun Ziki stomped her foot, increasingly exasperated by Qin Lang's unabashed demeanor. Could he not at least show a hint of humility? It was always the same. He had her completely at his mercy. After casting a resentful glance at Qin Lang, she turned away in frustration. "Qin Lang, this matter won't affect you too much, will it? After all, it's the Mo family, one of the most distinguished families in the entire Jiangnan County. Perhaps you should return to the capital sooner rather than later?" Staying in Tianhai City may not be entirely safe. Chu Mingyao's fingers turned pale as she spoke. Her once flowing red dress now replaced by a fitted coat that concealed her figure entirely. Her beautiful eyes, filled with concern and fear, gazed at Qin Lang as she tentatively advised him. If he returned to the capital, his safety would undoubtedly be assured. Yet, she felt a pang of reluctance. Indeed, it was the Mo family. Should they truly lose their senses and resort to some vile scheme against me, there would be little I could do to guard against it. Perhaps I should look for a chance to book a flight back to the capital tomorrow. Qin Lang, feigning ignorance, had already discerned Chu Mingyao's hidden thoughts. This young lady had her emotions written all over her face. The combination of fear and reluctance transformed her exquisitely delicate features into a near pie chart of anxiety. Wait, leaving tomorrow? Chu Minghiao Grechtkin Longshant anxiously. They had only just reunited, mere hours after mending their relationship. And now he was preparing to depart again? To return to the Qin family. Given her status, she had no right to enter the main gate of the Qin residence. Was this not plainly signaling yet another separation? Yet, she was the one who suggested that Qin Lang lay low. Now, she found herself wishing to keep him here. This internal conflict was ultimately overwhelmed by her concern for Qin Lang's safety. I cannot offer you anything, nor can I ask you to stay. All I can do is... Chu Mingyao unfastened the buttons of her fitted coat, removing it and placing it on the bed in the bedroom. Only then did Qin Lang realize what she had changed into. She donned a pink and white fitted skirt, reminiscent of the one she wore while serving as a maid in his home, though significantly shorter. This alteration accentuated her long legs, further enhanced by the deeper hue of her white stockings, which showcased her slender limbs exquisitely. The delicate silver patterns etched upon the stockings added a touch of allure, imbuing her appearance with an enchanting charm. The essence of her manga legs was perfectly highlighted, her glossy feet adorned with silver-tipped heels. Even Qin Lang felt his heart flutter at the sight. As his gaze traveled upward, he beheld her tiny waist astonishingly slim, without an ounce of excess flesh, as if she and her outfit were meant to be together. It remained unclear whether Chu Mingyao fortuitously possessed such attire or had meticulously planned for this moment. She unexpectedly retrieved 2 long, pink rabbit ears from the wardrobe in her bedroom, adorning them behind her wispy fringe. Her lustrous, jet-black hair was styled into a lengthy braid resembling a scorpion's tail. Was it appealing? Chu Mingyao lowered her head, biting her lip, too timid to meet Qin Lang's gaze directly. It was fortunate that they had reconciled. Otherwise, she would have had no courage to don such an outfit. Was it not blatantly imitating the uniforms from Qin Lang's household? Clearly, this had been a premeditated act. The design of the attire, aside from the varying lengths of the skirt, was remarkably tasteful in its imitation. Qin Lang stroked his chin, meticulously offering his critique. Chu Mingyao was about to explain that this outfit had been crafted by a high-end designer based on her descriptions and extensive revisions, hence the resemblance. However, before she could voice her thoughts, she was interrupted. Some matters could not be discerned merely by observation. One must touch the fabric to truly appreciate the differences. Let me examine it, Qin Lang declared earnestly, feeling the garment to ascertain whether Chu Mingyao had been deceived. As a compassionate individual unwilling to witness the young lady being misled by a designer, he took the task seriously, scrutinizing every inch. At times, his deep concentration led to unintended contact with certain areas. For instance, the skirt was rather short. While grasping the hem, he inadvertently brushed against the white stockings. Additionally, the remarkably flat abdomen revealed some unexpected creases that refused to smooth out despite several attempts. Frustrated, Qin Lang furrowed his brow, exclaiming, "This outfit is uneven. You've been swindled." Chu Mingyao's cheeks flushed crimson, her entire being ensnared in Qin Lang's embrace. She pounded her small fists against him in embarrassment, repeatedly insisting, "Those are not creases. Stop bullying me." She felt compelled to clarify that the dress held a story behind it, which was why she had commissioned the designer, urging him not to misinterpret her intentions. Hiding in Qin Lang's arms, she gently nudged her head against his chest, anxious to explain that the dress might indeed be somewhat avant-garde. Otherwise, he might mistakenly believe her to be a girl lacking self-respect, a misunderstanding she would deeply regret. "A story, you say?" Qin Lang chuckled, cupping Chu Mingyao's face and gazing intently into her evasive eyes. "If only you had been as eager earlier, we would not only share a story, but perhaps even a child." Chapter 376. Chu Mingyao's determination. You are bullying me again. I don't want to talk to you." Chu Mingyao exclaimed, stamping her feet in embarrassment. her face perpetually flushed. She realized that since Sister Ziki's departure, Qin Lang had become carefree, expertly holding her in his grasp. Every word he spoke was laden with reason, and while he appeared to be taking advantage, he maintained an earnest demeanor. How mischievous! If he wished to bully her, why must he be so serious about it? She found herself at a loss, uncertain whether to allow him to continue inspecting the fabric or to turn a blind eye as he smoothed out the creases. Laughing lightly, she decided not to dwell on it. Tonight was rather pleasant. However, tomorrow, Qin Lang hesitated, noticing that Chu Mingyao, blushing, seemed to forget her worries. He felt compelled to remind her. Upon hearing his words, her rosy cheeks drained of color. He was leaving. Tomorrow, Qin Lang would return to the capital. If she wished to see him again, it would not be so simple. Moreover, it had been quite some time since Qin Lang had arrived in Tianhai, and it was rumored that the Qin family had arranged another marriage for him. What would happen if he returned home, pressured by his family to wed? Although Qin Lang was assertive outside, within the family, he was merely a junior, unable to oppose the opinions of the prominent figures of the Qin family. It was highly likely that he would indeed marry his betrothed. If that fiancé were gentle, it might not be so bad. However, given Qin Lang's nature, he could never be solely devoted to family matters. But if she were hot-tempered and petty, what chance would Chu Mingyao have to develop a relationship with him? The mere thought filled her with panic and fear, her smoky eyes becoming clouded with tears. Qin Lang, I don't want you to leave, but I cannot convince myself to keep you here. I truly don't know what to do. Chu Mingyao was as frantic as a frightened little rabbit, her mind in disarray, her entire being in turmoil. Amidst her uncertainty, she was especially afraid of losing him. Clinging tightly to Qin Lang, she rose onto her toes and planted kisses upon his lips, one after another, as if she were offering all the kisses of her lifetime. Yao Yao, please don't do this. Though I'm a scholar, I too have my temper, Qin Lang said, his expression laced with bitterness as he gently pushed her away, embodying the restraint of a virtuous man. Men, at times, needed to change their tastes. A balance of softness and firmness is essential when dealing with the cycles of life. Was it pleasurable? Undoubtedly. Yet, when faced with Chu Mingyao, especially knowing he had a grasp on her feelings and vulnerabilities, he felt confident, untroubled that any hesitation on his part might disrupt the greater scheme. In fact, it might even serve to provoke an emotional outburst in Chu Mingyao. I understand your feelings, but I also recognize how much you value your own well-being. I cannot act upon my selfish desires and engage in something that would invite the wrath of both gods and men. Qin Lang gritted his teeth, seemingly suppressing the anger brewing within. Chu Mingyao, the favored daughter of fate, had made little substantial progress with Chun Pingyan in the original tale, despite their countless interactions. Part of this was due to Chun Pingyan, but more so it stemmed from Chu Mingyao's deep-seated beliefs about certain matters. Perhaps, in the depths of her heart, there are certain matters that must be postponed until after marriage. It seems that, even considering the newly reconciled circumstances, any attempt to take advantage may provoke some resistance from Chu Mingyao. Yet now, spurred by his words, the situation has taken an unexpected turn. Chu Mingyao bit her lip, clenching her small fists, lost in her thoughts. Her mind was in a haze. She had no intention of surrendering herself this evening, feeling that such an act would render her too cheap, unworthy of appreciation. However, she had not even hinted at such intentions, and instead, it was Qin Lang who first rejected her, suppressing his own inner turmoil for her sake. The emotions at play are entirely different. Chu Mingyao's conviction was clear. If I do not offer myself to you, you shall not claim me. Yet now, Qin Lang has turned this notion on its head, declaring that he shall not take what she might offer. Qin Lang, I adore you. I truly adore you. Chu Mingyao fell silent, tightly embracing Qin Lang, whispering softly. Everything seemed to conspire in favor of Qin Lang. The arrival of Mo Bai revealed to Chu Mingyao the audacity and arrogance of those born into prominent families, who care not for the feelings of others, but only for their own desires. And Qin Lang, with an even more formidable background than Mo Bai, is willing to endure for her sake. In such circumstances, even if she harbored thoughts of intimacy, she resolutely refused. What kind of heart is capable of such profound consideration for her? Yao Yao, I think it would be best if I left early tonight. If I linger here, I cannot guarantee what shameless act I might commit. Qin Lang extricated himself from Chu Mingyao's embrace, feeling reluctant yet resolute in his departure. Do not go. Do not leave me. I like you. I truly like you. Chu Mingyao dashed after him, wrapping her arms around him, refusing to let go. She could not allow Qin Lang to leave. What might transpire if he were to go? Perhaps her decision tonight would lead to him never seeking her out again due to family concerns. Or maybe if they truly forged that intimate bond, she would remain etched in his memory. Surely, she would be unforgettable. Qin Lang is so kind, so benevolent, willing to suppress his instincts for her. Such a person would undoubtedly cherish her contributions. While Chu Mingyao felt assured, she was also vexed. How could this mischief maker, typically so incorrigible, suddenly become so dense? She is a girl, after all. Aside from declaring her affection, what more could she say? Must she state it outright? How mortifying. Resolute, Chu Mingyao made a decision to take action rather than remain passive. Yao Yao, what are you doing? Do not speak. Yao Yao, this is not right. I understand your feelings, but we cannot proceed like this. Silence. What is happening? I cannot recall. When I was a child, my grandmother told me that when a thread fails to pass through the needles, a simple liquid suffice to make it go through. Chapter 377. The MO Family of Jiangnan County Ding. Congratulations to the host for acquiring the fateful woman, Chu Mingyao. Congratulations to the host for receiving 50,000 villain points. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 1,000 villain points. Ding. Congratulations to the host for acquiring 10,002 villain points. Ding. Congratulations to the host for securing 10,005 villain points. The wind howled and clouds raged, yet the rain did not fall. Awakening from a dream, the celestial visions were remarkably vivid. The following morning, as dawn broke, Chu Mingyao had long since awakened. Scenes from the previous night surged through her mind. Her cheeks flushed crimson as she gazed at the slumbering Qin Lang beside her for an extended period, suppressing the embarrassment that welled within her. Good morning. Upon seeing Qin Lang open his eyes, Chu Mingyao shyly murmured, feeling somewhat unaccustomed to waking up beside someone, especially a man. Qin Lang extracted his arm from under the covers and gently patted her head, admonishing, in the future, refrain from saying good morning too early. Instead, you should say how fantastic last night was. You only know how to bully me. Chu Mingyao, feeling flustered, burrowed into Qin Lang's embrace and playfully kicked at him with her foot under the blanket. Suddenly recalling something, she fell into a dejected state, realizing that there might not be another opportunity to express her feelings. Once he returned to the capital, she was uncertain when they would meet again. Why not? I could go to the capital as well. With some connections, I should be able to get in. Chu Mingyao raised her head with eager anticipation, her bright eyes glimmering with hope. If Qin Lang could not return to Tianhai City, then she would go to the capital. It was nearby, and their chances of meeting would increase significantly. If you wish to transfer, that is certainly an option, but once I return to the Qin family, even if I am no longer under threat, my personal freedom will be restricted. There are many responsibilities awaiting my attention, such as interning as a CEO in my mother-s company or mingling within a military regiment to advance to the rank of colonel over the years. Chu Mingyao felt a bit dazed. Was this what it meant to have one's personal freedom curtailed? How many would yearn for such constraints throughout their lives? Unintentionally, this highlighted the disparity in their statuses, which was stark and disheartening. So what shall we do? When do you plan to return to the capital? Chu Mingyao clung to Qin Lang, murmuring softly, wishing that time could freeze at that moment. That way, they would not need to part ways. I'm not going back. Not at all. A mere MO family, even if emboldened, would not dare to act against me. Even if they were to go mad, I possess ample security around me. If necessary, I could shamelessly request a few masters from my family for protection. Qin Lang cradled Chu Mingyao's delicate face, leaning in to plant a gentle kiss upon her lips. I could never bear to leave. We've only just begun our relationship. Returning would mean succumbing to family arrangements. And who knows when we might meet again. Besides, aren't you reluctant to see me go? If one has just gained your trust, but disregards your innermost feelings, what right does such a man possess to warrant your lifelong commitment? Return? Nonsense. I have only just returned from Kalan, and the gathering of people is far from complete. What purpose would it serve to go back to the capital? The declaration made last night about returning was merely a tactic of feigned capture. Now, the reasons for not returning are conveniently attributed to the desire not to disappoint Chu Mingyao. Not only does this allow for a graceful retraction of last night's words, but also serves ulterior motives. At what moment are women most easily moved? When does their intellect seem to dwindle, making them prone to believe whatever grand illusions men conjure? Is it not when they hear heartfelt words afterward? Indeed, this is an opportune moment. Upon hearing Qin Lang's pledge, a warm current flowed from the depths of Chu Mingyao's heart, coursing throughout her being. The moment her gaze met Qin Lang's gentle eyes, it felt as though she had tasted honey, leaving her heart sweetened. Qin Lang, you are truly wonderful to me. At this moment, a multitude of words seemed superfluous and remained unspoken. The only action Chu Mingyao could take was to wrap her arms tightly around Qin Lang's neck, nuzzling against him like a small kitten. What is there to consider as good or bad? It is all a matter of course, unworthy of your astonishment. Now that our relationship has reached this point, it is only natural to care for each other's feelings, to give and support one another. There should be no hint of disdain or hesitation. Qin Lang's words were shrouded in ambiguity, hinting at deeper meanings. The previous night, for various reasons, Chu Mingyao had not followed the method suggested by Qin Lang's grandmother to thread the needle. This left Qin Lang feeling somewhat displeased, and seizing the opportunity, he revealed some of his hidden thoughts. He intended to pat Chu Mingyao's head, but his hand felt empty as she had already burrowed beneath the blanket. Immediately, Qin Lang's gaze sharpened, his brow furrowing. He inhaled sharply. Meanwhile, in Jiangnan County, at the Mo family estate, the atmosphere in the old residence was solemn. Son, my precious son, who could possess such a ruthless heart? That wretched scoundrel shall pay with blood for this. I will have him drawn and quartered. Zhao Mingwei, upon receiving the news, rushed into the living room, where she saw a corpse covered by a white cloth. Lifting it, she was met with her son's lifeless face, and she immediately broke into anguished cries, her voice hoarse with grief, cursing and raging like a madwoman. What has transpired? Mo Kong stood before his son's body, his gaze fierce and filled with murderous intent as he glared at the kneeling group of county guards. The captain of the guards, with his forehead pressed to the ground, muttered dazedly. The young master had gone to Tianhai City to confess to a woman named Chu Mingyao, only to discover that she is the beloved of young Master Qin. The young master's actions provoked young Master Qin's wrath, and in a moment of conflict, he was slain by Qin's hand. Young Master Qin? Mo Kang's voice was cold. The captain pressed his head to the ground. The eldest young master of the Qin family in the capital, Qin Lang. Qin Lang, the eldest young master of the Qin family? Mo Kang's body trembled. Damn it, how could it be someone from the Qin family? This young man nearly provoked a significant calamity. Despite my numerous warnings to refrain from reckless behavior outside, he ultimately tripped over a formidable obstacle this time. That insolent boy. Alas, Qin Lang is the sole heir of the esteemed Qin family in the capital, surrounded by formidable protectors. Even the slightest attempt to trouble him would find no openings. Moreover, should harm befall Qin Lang, the Qin family would undoubtedly descend into madness, inviting endless reprisals. In an instant, Mo Kong felt a substantial portion of his murderous intent dissipate, astonished by Qin Lang's status. He was all too aware of his son's character. Previously, with the Mo family backing him, many matters had failed to stir any significant trouble. He had repeatedly urged Mo Bai to exercise restraint, yet to his dismay, Mo Bai not only disregarded the lessons learned, but also attracted disaster by offending the eldest scion of the Qin family, ultimately costing him his life. Mo Kong, this is your son. Are you truly prepared to let the murderer go simply because he bears the surname Qin? Are you too afraid to seek vengeance? Zhao Mingyue's beautiful eyes were reddened, tears moistening her cheeks as she looked up in indignation. This is the Qin family. How can we seek vengeance? How can we dare to? Does the Mo family possess the standing to even utter the word revenge in the presence of the Qin family? The so-called prominent families of Jiangnan are but wooden boats next to aircraft carriers, utterly incomparable in weight. A mere egg cannot contend against a stone. While the stone remains unscathed, the egg shall surely shatter. Mo Kong took a deep breath, casting a glance at his trusted aide, and then surveying the kneeling guards of the county. He coldly commanded, the guards failed in their duty. Eliminate them all. Yes, replied a man with inverted triangular eyes, his voice icy as he charged towards the 30-odd county guards. No, you cannot do this. We are the county guards of Jiangnan, merely fulfilling our duty of protection. We do not belong to the Mo family, and you have no right to kill us. Stop. The protest was abruptly silenced as the triangular-eyed man, swift as a shadow, wielded a large blade, swiftly circling the 30 guards. Each neck bore a crimson mark before they collapsed to the ground. The Mo family's guards quickly cleared the scene, removing the 30 corpses from the parlor. Mo Kong, is this your form of vengeance? Unable to confront the murderer, you unleash your wrath upon a group of county guards. Zhao Mingwei clenched her teeth, attempting to pierce through the heartlessness of her unfeeling husband. The Qin family is insurmountable. Qin Lang is untouchable. This matter must end here. With a cold snort, Mo Kong departed, suppressing his fury, refusing to express it further. You say it ends here, yet I shall ensure it continues. Zhao Mingyue's resentment surged forth. Within the Mo family, Mo Kong had but this one son. How could he remain so composed if his sole heir were slain? Mo Kang's reaction had already confirmed his secret affair outside. No investigation required. Zhao Mingyue, hailing from a prominent family herself, even from the grander Zhao family of the capital, understood the intricacies of such familial affairs all too well. Naturally, it is well understood that the Qin family is a formidable force, not to mention the Mo family. Even the Zhao family would think twice before confronting the Qin family over a married daughter. Yet, even if Qin Lang is temporarily untouchable, that woman named Chu Mingyao must pay a price. That insufferable seductress, already in a relationship, dares to entangle herself with her son. If it were not for Chu Mingyao, how could her only son have lost his life? This enmity demands retribution. She will ensure that Chu Mingyao pays in blood, and one day, Qin Lang will also suffer a grievous price. A yawn escaped Qin Lang as he sat in the CF, rubbing his nose with sleepy eyes. Which stunning beauty is thinking of you at this hour? Zhou Ziqing gracefully lifted her coffee cup, taking a sip while casting a sidelong glance, teasingly remarking on his lackluster demeanor after such a long absence. Zhou Ziqing was no longer the naive, intellectual professor she once was. She had delved into various subjects and likely surmised the reason behind Qin Lang's current state. Oh dear, what is this? Displaying affection in public? Can you two be a little more discreet? How am I a single dog, supposed to enjoy my coffee in peace? Opposite Zhou Ziqing sat a flamboyantly dressed young woman in a black silk uniform, exuding an air reminiscent of an instructor from the land of cherry blossoms. She crossed her legs, her eyes lingering on Qin Lang for quite some time, before turning to Zhou Ziqing. Is this the boyfriend you mentioned before? Quite impressive. He is handsome, and look at that nose. Ziqing, you must be quite fortunate in certain respects. Lu Yan, it's already quite generous of me to invite you over for coffee. Why does everything you say turn into something else? Zhou Ziqing replied with a frosty demeanor, clearly displeased with the young woman across from her. They had known each other since childhood, having shared a desk for nearly 8 years. Their bond should have been strong. However, as they stepped into society, Lu Yan seemed to have transformed under its influence, leading to a gradual estrangement. Yet, that was merely Zhou Ziqing's one-sided sentiment. Lu Yan showed no intention of distancing herself. In fact, she had persistently attempted to introduce Zhou Ziqing to unsuitable suitors, including men who were nearly of her father's generation. Ziqing, look at you. Why have you suddenly become so aloof? We grew up together, after all. You don't answer my calls, ignore my messages. And now that we've finally run into each other, you're still so unwelcoming. Is this necessary? Lu Yan sighed, then suddenly brightened. I heard you've recently moved. No longer residing at Tianhai University, but in a villa? Goodness, it hasn't been long since we last met, and you've become so wealthy. Is it true that being a professor at the university pays so well? Regrettably, my diploma does not grant me access to a university. I can only teach children in some private institutions, earning less than I did while navigating the outside world. Recently, I have encountered some difficulties in life, and Zhou Qing, could you possibly lend me a sum of around 80 to 100,000 for urgent matters? I am without funds, and the house is not mine. Zhou Qing firmly declined. Here comes the matter at hand, borrowing money yet again. Initially, Lu Yan had deceived her out of a considerable amount. Although she is a member of the Zhou family, due to certain circumstances, she had never spent a penny from them after graduation, relying entirely on her own salary. She had lent Lu Yan a substantial amount, which had plunged her into financial hardship, and to this day, she has not recovered it. If it wasn't purchased by you, then who else could it be? Lu Yan grumbled, her gaze shifting to Qin Lang, a smile gracing her features, her eyes narrowing. She slipped her foot out of her pointed high heels and casually rested it on Qin Lang's calf, speaking in a sultry tone. I never expected, handsome, that not only do you possess such striking looks, but you are also a golden son-in-law. How long have you known Zhou Qing? You have already gifted her a grand villa. If only I had such a wealthy boyfriend, although I tend to spend lavishly, I would still be willing to make sacrifices for him in certain aspects. Whatever my boyfriend desires, I will surely fulfill. Lu Yan's foot crept higher up Qin Lang's calf. On the surface, she held a cup of coffee in one hand, her chin resting on the other, gazing intently into Qin Lang's eyes. One might mistakenly believe her to be sincere. In reality, her toes, encased in black stockings, harbored their own intentions, deliberately teasing Qin Lang's nerves. Chapter 379. A single statement from Qin Lang brings Lu Yin great fortune. Lu Yin, do not overstep your bounds. Please conduct yourself with dignity. Although Zhou Qing could not see the scene beneath the table, the overly sweet tone made her feel uncomfortable, and she furrowed her brows, delivering a cold warning. Zhou Qing, what are you doing? I am merely curious how such a young gentleman can be so affluent. I wonder what industry he is in. Could he possibly take me under his wing? Unfazed by Zhou Qing's disapproval, Lu Yin, at her level, had long since developed a thick skin against cold remarks. Her demeanor as resilient as a fortress. While she appeared more restrained on the surface, beneath the table, her boldness increased. Her foot, clad in black, had already risen to the level of Qin Lang's knee. Ahem, truthfully, it is not that I am engaged in any particularly lucrative industry. It is merely a matter of vision. In business, having foresight is paramount. Qin Lang discreetly sipped his coffee, retracting his legs to avoid further contact with Lu Yin. While she was not unattractive, her heavy makeup lent her a certain allure. To the average person, she possessed a notable charm. Yet, for Qin Lang, how should one put it? Having grown accustomed to exquisite delicacies, the prospect of a simple dish of bok choy sufficed, but encountering such a lavish feast? A sense of nausea enveloped her, as if she were on the verge of being overwhelmed. Given your circumstances, there exists a lucrative avenue for quick profit, Qin Lang mused, stroking his chin while scrutinizing Lu Yin across from him. His words trailed off abruptly, leaving her intrigued. What avenue? She implored, her curiosity piqued. Do tell. Don't keep me in suspense. If it allows me to mend my financial woes, I am open to any proposition you may have. Lu Yin cast him a flirtatious glance, her allure undeniable. It felt as though they were engaged in a playful banter, wholly oblivious to the presence of Zhou Ziqing seated beside them. You mentioned you've worked at some private educational institutions? I wonder if you possess any instructional videos? You know, the ones featuring you in a stylish black suit. Indeed, I have quite a few, Lu Yin replied eagerly, nodding. For her, those videos held significant value. Sharing them would serve as proof of her former profession to affluent individuals. They were an asset she had never considered discarding, always readily available on her phone. I'll provide you with a link. Just log in, create an account, and upload those videos. Ensure they are set to a pay-per-view model. Whether it's 6 or 30 coins per view is entirely up to you, Qin Lang explained, stealing a glance at the stoic Zhou Ziqing beside him. Opting not to elaborate further. Yuyist, how could such a website possibly charge for a physics lesson? Lu Yin teased, casting a glance at the myriad of faces on her phone screen, seemingly unfazed by the content. You're being foolish, Zhou Ziqing interjected, catching sight of the questionable images on Lu Yin's phone, initially believing she was exploring legitimate channels. I'm serious, Qin Lang retorted earnestly, fixing his gaze on Lu Yin. Are you not in need of funds? Today is a weekend, and the traffic is high. Follow my instructions, upload the videos, and within half an hour, you will undoubtedly reap substantial rewards. Is that so? Lu Yin pondered, her skepticism evident as she regarded her phone screen. After all, uploading her prior instructional videos seemed harmless enough. If a familiar face happened to see them, she could easily concoct an excuse, claiming they were uploaded by an acquaintance. With a resolute mindset, she followed Qin Lang's guidance, uploading the most risque video to the site and setting the viewing fee at 30 coins. Subsequently, she set her phone aside and engaged Zhou Ziqing in casual conversation, seamlessly steering the subject toward Qin Lang. With subtlety, she inquired about his profession, workplace, and family background, her intentions transparent. Ultimately, she harbored aspirations of aligning herself with Qin Lang, a potential benefactor capable of aiding Zhou Ziqing in purchasing a villa. Lu Yin's acquaintances among the affluent had all aged into their 40s, and there was no one as strikingly handsome and charming as Qin Lang among the wealthy second-generation heirs. If only she could secure his affection, she felt it would grant her peace for the rest of her life. Zhou Ziqing, however, found such trivial conversations utterly distasteful, as it made her uncomfortable to think of her man being coveted by other women. Glancing at her watch, realizing they had been chatting for over 2 hours, she decided to take the initiative to suggest, shall we call it a day? Ziqing, that's rather uninteresting of you. We haven't seen each other in ages, after all. We were childhood friends, and I had sincerely hoped to introduce you to a boyfriend. Now, you have such an outstanding partner in Qin Lang, and yet seem to have forgotten about me, a solitary soul. After just a brief chat, you find me bothersome? Or is it that now, with Qin Lang, you feel you've elevated your status and look down upon your former childhood friend? Lu Yin lamented dramatically, her eyes filled with a sense of grievance as she fixed her gaze on Zhou Ziqing. One might think she had suffered some great injustice. Zhou Ziqing observed Lu Yan's display with distaste in her heart and nudged Qin Lang, signaling him to speak up and leave. Yet Qin Lang, seemingly indifferent, sipped his coffee and replied, "Let us wait a bit longer. I have a friend coming to discuss some matters. We can leave after we finalize things." He gestured towards Lu Yan and checked his phone for any incoming funds, as the platform operated on a real-time revenue-sharing model. "My dear, you truly are attentive. In this day and age, who is foolish enough to fall for such schemes? At most, one might fool a couple of simpletons as a gimmick. But once they realize something is amiss, who would still be deceived?" Lu Yan quipped nonchalantly. Even if such websites featured videos, there were always a few gullible individuals who would routinely click on them. Eventually, they would be exposed and face backlash for their actions. At best, one could earn a few hundred. It was hardly a lucrative venture. Despite her jesting, Lu Yan obediently followed Qin Lang's instructions and reopened the website, navigating to the back-end interface. Upon seeing the figures displayed, her eyes widened in disbelief and horror. How is this possible? How can there be so much money? What's wrong? Zhou Ziqing, equally astonished, leaned closer and discovered that Lu Yan's back-end earnings amounted to over 30,000. With nearly 2,000 individuals having paid to watch. This was after splitting the revenue with the platform. The total recharge amount had nearly reached 70,000. My goodness, this website you've given me can't possibly be a scam, right? How could there be so many gullible souls willing to pay to watch? Are there really that many people in Longwa obsessed with physics? Even on such a platform, they don't forget to learn physics? In less than 2 hours, earning over 30,000 had left Lu Yan astounded, compelling her to suspect it was all a ruse. "Try withdrawing some funds," Qin Lang suggested casually. Following his instructions, Lu Yan linked her bank card and initiated the withdrawal. Ding dong. In merely a few seconds, over 30,000 had been credited to her account, accompanied by a notification. Could it be true? Had she genuinely earned more than 30,000? My goodness, had she struck it rich? Lu Yan felt an overwhelming rush of excitement. Her blood surging to her head, her complexion flushed, and her eyes wide with exhilaration. Zhou Ziqing furrowed his brow, casting an odd glance at Qin Lang. How could so many people be willing to pay? Shouldn't they feel deceived? TSK, your mindset is too rigid, lacking foresight. The thoughts of men are seldom as benevolent as you might assume. Do you really think that those who pay to watch would kindly inform others that the video is a scam? Qin Lang found amusement in the naivete. In reality, when a fool sees Lu Yan's video and realizes he has been duped, his first impulse is not to expose the fraud, but rather to mislead his friends into falling into the same trap. This creates a vicious cycle, leading to Lu Yan's substantial earnings. In years past, a video titled "The Renowned Sakura Professor's Teaching Process" actually contained clips of the Calabash brothers, racking up over 1 million views. How much more so in this barren entertainment industry of a parallel world, especially with Lu Yan's alluring uniform and stockings? It was irresistibly captivating. One could only imagine how many would click to watch upon first glance, and how many would be tricked into paying for access by mere screenshot. Although this is a parallel universe, the essence of men remains unchanged across realms. Their thoughts are as innocent and uncomplicated, never mundane. Furthermore, the entertainment industry here is remarkably desolate, compounded by the influx of people on weekends. The convergence of these factors ultimately resulted in Lu Yan's impressive revenue stream. As expected, in just a moment, Lu Yan glanced at her phone, exclaiming in astonishment. Her income had surged by another 3,000. Zhou Ziqing took a deep breath, despite his disdain for Lu Yan's character. Their acquaintance compelled him to advise her. While your earnings may be substantial, they are entirely unlawful. I hope you reconsider your path moving forward. Immersed in the euphoria of her newfound wealth, Lu Yan had already begun to envision a promising future. Within 2 hours, a net income exceeding 30,000. Wouldn't the total exceed 100,000 by day's end? Over a month, that could amount to millions. When a person is blinded by wealth, they seldom regard external factors or contemplate the peril of a potential financial collapse. They only recognize that they have struck gold. She gazed at Zhou Ziqing with a derisive smile. "Oh, how remarkable you are! So noble. Wealthy heirs are drawn to you. I have finally discovered a lucrative path. And here you are, dousing me with cold water. What have I done? I merely wish to disseminate knowledge. What laws have I broken? We are all here to earn a living. You've latched on a Qin Lang, thinking you've hit the jackpot and looking down on me, your former childhood friend, right? Upon witnessing my newfound prosperity, rather than rejoicing, you choose to douse my enthusiasm with cold water? You are nothing more than a cunning fox, engaging in this trivial banter with me. Lu Yan's demeanor shifted sharply, shedding her previous charm, and as she observed her income steadily rising, she felt an overwhelming surge of confidence. Qin Lang cleared his throat, questioning her excessive behavior. Is it not a tad unreasonable? After all, Zhiqing is also your childhood friend, concerned for your well-being. Your words seem rather lacking in compassion, do they not? And you dare to critique me? Lu Yan turned to Qin Lang, her gaze piercing. What right do you have to judge? Are you feigning innocence? Did you not provide me with this website? Do not presume I am unaware of your ulterior motives. Perhaps you have exploited this lucrative opportunity many times before, for how else could you be so well-informed? She shot a glance at Zhou Zhiqing, sneering at Qin Lang, suggesting that he must have extensively utilized Zhou Zhiqing's instructional videos. They all appear respectable, yet behind the facade, they may be engaged in unsavory dealings. Is it merely a villa? I, too, can afford one. A person of your ilk is hardly worth my interest. Her frustration simmered. Her attempts to entice Qin Lang had proven futile. Had she not known of his wealth, she would have already erupted in anger. Now, with her income rising, she felt emboldened. With an authoritative gesture, she pointed at Qin Lang and Zhou Zhiqing, launching a tirade so harsh it was nearly unbearable. Zhou Zhiqing shot a disapproving glance at Qin Lang, silently conveying that this situation had backfired spectacularly. Qin Lang shrugged and glanced toward the entrance of the CAF, interrupting Lu Yan's tirade. Please, pause for a moment. My friend has arrived. Friend? Lu Yan crossed her arms, intrigued as she followed Qin Lang's gaze towards the two women approaching from the CAF's entrance. One woman, clad in simple attire, exuded an air of confidence, while the other, taller and more poised in a fitted suit, radiated a commanding presence. Well, I didn't realize you had such beautiful friends, each one more stunning than the last. It seems prosperity indeed brings attractive company. Lu Yan, having taken note of Chun Ziki and the other competent woman, eagerly approached them, a smile gracing her features. Ladies, which platform are you profiting from? Share the entry point with me, would you? Just moments ago, she was fierce. Now she appeared to be the one seeking assistance. This rapid transformation was nothing new for Lu Yan. Chun Ziki furrowed her brow in confusion. What do you mean? Lu Yan, amused, pointed at Qin Lang for confirmation. He's your friend, right? Somewhat. Chun Ziki acknowledged Qin Lang with a nod. Lu Yan, feeling as though she had found her allies, confidently showed Chun Ziki her website on her phone. This is it. Which platform are you using to make money? Let's all earn together. Ahem. They are respectable individuals. Qin Lang stifled a laugh, raising a fist to his mouth to contain his amusement, offering a gentle reminder. He had intended to escort Lu Yan himself, but now he was spared the effort, as she was eager to rush into the CAF. What sort of respectable individual would associate with you? They're all cut from the same cloth. Lu Yan, with an audacious demeanor, continued to press. Don't be so rigid. We're all good sisters. If it comes down to it, once we start earning, I shall grant you a share of the profits. The division of profits is of no concern to me, but I do have an intriguing proposition. Chun Ziki smirked. Lu Yan's eyes gleamed with curiosity. Where? In prison. Chun Ziki replied coldly, revealing an identification card and placing it before Lu Yan. I regret to inform you, but I am a police officer. Chapter 381, Fifth Sister. Shao Huhu do Notiist. I never realized you all were so playful. Even coming prepared with identification? Lu Yan scoffed, playfully handling the badge Chun Ziki had presented. Where did you purchase this? How much did it cost? I should procure one as well. Who knows? I might deceive a few more simpletons. Police? What a ludicrous notion. Someone like Qin Lang, a friend of the police? Absurd. Chun Ziki refrained from further discussion, dialing her phone and succinctly conveying a message. Shortly thereafter, a patrol car passed by the CAF, and several uniformed officers approached, securing Lu Yan with a pair of silver handcuffs. Your actions have violated the law, and you are suspected of insulting public officials in the course of their duties. Please accompany us. Is this real? Lu Yan, staring at the silver cuffs, was momentarily stunned, only to erupt into a frantic outburst. I have committed no crime. I uploaded an educational video. This website was provided to me by him. If anyone should be apprehended, it is he. He is the mastermind. Pointing at Qin Lang, Lu Yan clutched at her last straw, desperately attempting to shift blame. Even if what you say is true, you are still implicated in fraud. It is time for you to be investigated. Chun Ziki gestured dismissively, instructing the officers to take Lu Yan away. She turned to Qin Lang and clarified, First, take this woman back. I will handle matters on this end. Soon, the patrol car whisked Lu Yan away, leaving a tranquil silence in its wake. Qin Lang inhaled deeply, reflecting. At last, peace is returned. Lu Yan's incessant chatter was enough to drive one mad. Huh, did you think to use me as a pawn? Shun Ziki's cold gaze fixed on Qin Lang. You are hardly blameless yourself. Lu Yan claims the website is yours. Did you anticipate my arrival and set a trap? I am a good person. Qin Lang asserted with a serious expression. How could you trust such slanderous words against me? I have never engaged in any unlawful activities. If you doubt me, I can swear upon the heavens. He raised a hand solemnly. By the heavens above, I, Qin Lang, pledge to remain forever distant from gambling and drugs. Spare me your feigned innocence. I have come with serious matters to discuss. Chun Ziki gestured towards a competent-looking woman beside her. Allow me to introduce Xiao Chu-Chu, an investigator dispatched from above. She has recently returned from abroad due to specific circumstances and requires your assistance. Xiao Chu-Chu. King Long's demeanor shifted sharply. Upon first laying eyes on this capable woman, he sensed something amiss. Her striking beauty was almost too pronounced, rendering her completely unyielding alongside Shinziki. Even in certain aspects, she subtly surpasses others. Learning her name leaves one in a daze. Xiao Chu-Chu. Is this not the fifth senior sister of Chun Fan among the seven? This woman is an international agent. Her methods and prowess are certainly on par with the reincarnation. Moreover, she has a twin sister, Xiao Bingbing, who is Chun Fan's sixth senior sister and an international criminal detective. Together, they embody unparalleled beauty. Now, they both appear in Tianhai City as the narrative veered off course, resulting in events that should not have transpired. As Qin Lang pondered, he couldn't help but scrutinize Xiao Chu-Chu's face for a while longer, inciting a twinge of discomfort within Zhou Ziqing. How long has this fellow been back? He spent much time with me, yet upon seeing a beautiful girl, his eyes nearly adhere to her. Unable to restrain himself, he pinched Qin Lang's waist, questioning how he would handle Lu Yan being lured into the station. Though she may have erred in certain matters, it is imperative that she does not acquire a criminal record. Otherwise, any chance of redemption would be lost. Do not worry about that. Based on the information we currently possess, Lu Yan's situation is not severe enough to have a lasting impact. At most, it will result in a reprimand and a fine. Chun Ziki kindly clarified, bringing the topic to a close. She stood up and surveyed the surroundings, noting the absence of other patrons before sitting down again, casting a glance towards Zhou Ziqing, the implication clear. The ensuing conversation may not be entirely suitable for outsiders. It's fine. We are all on the same side. Speak freely, or I shall take my leave, Qin Lang declared before Chinziki, grasping Zhou Ziqing's hand and rubbing it repeatedly. Mr. Qin, my current mission is related to the Mo family of Jiangnan County. However, I cannot divulge the more clandestine aspects. You only need to know that the assassination of the Mo family's young master, Mo Bai, has incited intense hostility from them. According to higher-ups, the Mo family may very well take action against you. The Mo family against me? Qin Lang pointed at his own nose, casting a glance at Chinziki. I must be mistaken. Who dares to challenge me? And has it already drawn the attention of the higher authorities? Are they mad enough to wish for mutual destruction? Mo Bai's mother is from the Zhao family. Being her only son, his murder will undoubtedly drive her to madness, which is entirely predictable. I have no ulterior motives in coming here. I merely seek your permission, Mr. Qin, to accompany you as a precautionary measure. You wish to become my personal bodyguard? Something feels amiss. Qin Lang chuckled lightly. If you truly are the international agent that Chun Ziki claims, how can you not recognize such a simple analysis? It seems the Mo family has a far more suitable outlet for their ire than targeting me. Xiao Chu-Chu nodded silently. I have already arranged for personnel to accompany and protect Miss Chu Mingyao from the Chu family, so you need not worry. Her safety will be impeccably ensured. I have already informed you that they are our own people. Why do you still conceal matters from me? Does the Mo family truly dare to take action against me? Or do you intend to strike at the Mo family while dragging me into the fray as a shield, considering the background? Qin Lang's voice turned icy. The Mo family, capable of stirring up storms in Jiangnan County, would amount to little more than a larger grasshopper in my presence. Do they really believe they can act against me? Does the Mo family consist solely of Mo Bai's parents? Would the entire clan be willing to oppose me for the sake of one family member? Would the others stand idly by, watching as Mo Bai's parents drag them down with them? What nonsense is this? Unless those from the Mo family have lost their minds, they would not dare to set their sights on me, especially during such a peculiar period. You should suppress your trivial schemes. I am unaware of any grievances you may have with the Mo family, but if you wish to assist, merely state your intentions. If you resort to underhanded tactics to ensnare me, do not blame me for being ungracious. Qin Lang fixed a cold gaze upon Xiao Chu. I do not require a personal bodyguard. If you find yourself at loose ends, you may accompany your people to protect Chu Mingyao. Chapter 382. Twin sister Xiao Bingbing Zhou Zuqing, seated beside him, let out a sigh of relief, then expressed concern. How have you offended the Mo family again? The higher-ups have specifically arranged for personnel to protect you. Do not heed her chatter. It is merely a pretext to approach me. Perhaps she is plotting to stage a drama one day, only to have her intervene on my behalf. At that point, the blame could be cast upon the Mo family, inciting my animosity towards them. Should she encounter any insurmountable troubles with the Mo family in the future, she would simply drag me out to serve as a scapegoat. Qin Lang regarded Xiao Chu with a cold smile. This woman is quite treacherous. She is depicted as such in the original narrative, even without knowing the plot's progression. A little deduction reveals the outcome. Yet, I remain curious about the nature of the enmity between Xiao Chu and the Mo family. Furthermore, who is currently tasked with protecting Chu Mingyao? Could it possibly be Xiao Chu's twin sister, Xiao Bingbing? What a pity. Serving as a shield could indeed be an excellent choice, affording ample opportunities to delve deeper into the dynamics of this pair of twin sisters. However, with Zhou Ziqing present, I find myself unable to acquiesce. This exquisite professor, inherently rational and knowledgeable, has already been neglected too much of late. Should she feel overlooked once more due to Xiao Chu, it would undoubtedly stir discontent in her heart. Rather than incite Zhou Ziqing's jealousy by serving as a mere shield for Xiao Chu, it would be wiser to address the matter directly. After all, both Xiao Chu and Xiao Bingbing are known to prefer engaging with intelligent individuals. Mr. Qin, it appears that some of the rumors regarding you are indeed unfounded. Xiao Chu, upon realizing that her subtle intentions had been unveiled, displayed no signs of anger. Instead, a faint smile graced her lips. Since that is the case, I shall not impose further. Farewell. With that, she rose decisively, unwilling to indulge in any unnecessary conversation. She came as she pleased and departed without a word. Did she seek my permission? Qin Lang's countenance reflected his displeasure. Let me reiterate, your actions have incited my profound dissatisfaction. I am indifferent to whom you have arranged by Chu Mingyao's side, nor do I concern myself with their qualifications. From this moment forth, should even the slightest error arise concerning Chu Mingyao, I shall hold you entirely accountable. Even if you have backing, I will unearth it. I have faith that someone incapable of confronting the Mo family will undoubtedly quail before me. Qin Lang, are you threatening me? Xiao Chu's expression turned frosty. When had she ever faced such intimidation? Even on an international stage, she had never endured such inequity. You may interpret it as such, or you may choose to oppose me. Feel free to explore the consequences. Qin Lang, maintaining his composure, sipped his coffee while regarding Xiao Chu's visage, one that radiated desire and despair, devoid of any semblance of innocence. Were her twin sister, resembling her closely, to stand beside her, even Qin Lang would find himself in turmoil, uncertain of whom to favor. A threat? Perhaps, but more so, I surmise that with Xiao Chu's proud disposition, she could hardly provide comprehensive protection for Chu Mingyao. However, faced with my ultimatum, it is imperative to ensure absolute security. Regardless of whether the current bodyguard by Chu Mingyao's side is Xiao Bingbing, these twin sisters are inseparable. None shall escape. To avoid incurring my wrath, Xiao Chu, with her meticulous nature, would undoubtedly refrain from taking unnecessary risks, ensuring that she and her sister, Xiao Bingbing, offer close protection to Chu Mingyao. Very well. You are quite remarkable. You are the first to dare threaten me. Xiao Chu shot Qin Lang a cold glare before turning away in frustration. Ah, such a bold character. She rivals the sharp tongue you once possessed, Qin Lang mused, glancing at Chun Ziki with an air of amusement. Chun Ziki, initially composed, was merely fulfilling her duty by accompanying Xiao Chu. Discovering that this woman had concealed her true motives only deepened her dissatisfaction. As Qin Lang and Xiao Chu clashed, she relished the unfolding drama, only to find the focus shifting back to her. Once again, that phrase, "You're the one with a sharp tongue." Your entire family is composed of silver-tongued individuals. Chun Ziki glared at Qin Lang with a fierce countenance, her teeth clenched in rage, wishing to leap forward and bite him to ascertain whether his blood ran as black as his character. How revolting! In her agitation, she inadvertently spilled some coffee from her cup, casting an annoyed glance at Qin Lang before making her way toward the restroom. Following closely behind, Qin Lang also rose. Having consumed too much coffee, I too must visit the restroom. On the other side, after leaving the CEF, Xiao Chuchu hurried directly towards the villa of the Chu family. Nearby, she encountered her twin sister, Xiao Bingbing. Having spent so much time together, their resemblance was so striking that one might think there was merely a mirror reflecting back at them. Their features were almost indistinguishable, as if sculpted from the same mold. Even their attire mirrored each other, both clad in exquisite tailored women's suits. In terms of height, physique, and facial features, as well as other attributes that women often take pride in, the sisters were perfectly alike. Their hairstyles were identical, cascading over their shoulders with simple braids, devoid of any elaborate styling. If one were not intimately familiar with them, it would be nearly impossible to discern any differences. The only distinguishing mark was a faint reddish tear mole at the corner of Xiao Bingbing's eye, adding a touch of alluring charm. Sister, weren't you supposed to be searching for that Qin Lang? Why are you back so soon? Did you manage to accomplish what you set out to do? Xiao Bingbing inquired curiously. With the Mo family's influence in Jiangnan County, relying on them to investigate that case was utterly futile. Even some higher-ups dared not provoke the Mo family, as any misstep could unleash their wrath, resulting in catastrophic consequences. Failed. Xiao Chuchu's expression was one of profound disappointment. How could this be? You dressed so elegantly for him. Yet did that young master of the Qin family not feel the slightest attraction towards you? Did he refuse you? Or is there something amiss with him? Something amiss? Xiao Chuchu recalled certain details from her earlier encounter. Not only was Zhou Ziqing closely associated with Qin Lang, but Chen Ziki, who accompanied her, also appeared to have an ambiguous relationship with him. From Chen Ziki's subtle expressions, one could draw conclusions. Rumors, after all, remain just that, unreliable. With a sigh, Xiao Chuchu lamented, "Not only did I fail to entice Qin Lang, but he even discerned my intentions and called me out on them. Furthermore, he threatened me, insisting that I must ensure Chu Mingyao encounters no missteps. Otherwise, I would bear the entire responsibility. Then let us stay together. It's the perfect opportunity. As I've been swamped with work recently, we can take this chance to relax in Tianhai City," Xiao Bingbing suggested, showing no resentment towards Qin Lang. After all, it was only natural to feel animosity when one's schemes are uncovered. Yet, she was curious. Was Qin Lang truly as astute as he seemed? Was he supposed to be a wastrel? How could he see through her sister's plans so easily? Her doubts mingled with curiosity. Chapter 383. Two-pronged preparation. Since you've chosen to stay, there's no need for me to linger here. The elder sister's family resides just next door in Tianyu City. I haven't seen her in ages, so I think I shall take this opportunity to visit her, Xiao Bingbing expressed with anticipation. Aside from her biological sister, the elder sister had always been the one who treated her with the utmost kindness, showering her with care throughout her life. Since descending the mountain, I have been preoccupied with matters of duty, frequently traversing foreign lands, and have scarcely had the opportunity to return to the Dragon Kingdom. Were it not for the recent discovery of a significant case intricately linked to the Mo family, I would not have found myself with such leisure in Tianhai City. Once the dust settles, I shall seek out my senior sister to reminisce. The demise of Mo Bai has undoubtedly inflicted a profound blow upon Zhao Mingyue. Should the Zhao family harbor anger, even without the family's backing, it would not be overly difficult to enlist a few formidable individuals to target Chu Mingyao. Both of us must remain here as guardians, unable to depart. Xiao Chuchu shook her head, rejecting her sister's notion. She is cautious and circumspect, regardless of any trepidation regarding Qin Lang's family background. Once a situation is assured, one must exert their utmost effort. Meanwhile, Qin Lang, holding his phone, instructed the blood-red mandala on the other end for an extended duration, then sent a message to Junzi, urging him to keep an eye on Chu Mingyao. Since even Xiao Chuchu had received inside information regarding the Mo family's quest for vengeance, it is clear that this matter cannot be swiftly dismissed. This is a trap concerning Chu Mengyao's very life. After all, he and Chu Mingyao have only recently become acquainted. To allow her to fall into peril at this juncture would be exceedingly unkind. One must prepare for all contingencies, for it is unwise to place blind faith in Xiao Chuchu's words. After all, these twin sisters are indeed daughters of destiny. Entrusting them with tasks will surely yield unexpected complications. Otherwise, how could they be deemed daughters of fortune? It is evident that you care for Yao Yao quite deeply, having already enlisted Xiao Chuchu for her personal protection. Yet you remain restless, repeatedly arranging for contingencies? Chen Ziki glared at Qin Lang with jealousy. Qin Lang ended the call, chuckling, "Isn't this what I ought to do? What, do you feel uncomfortable because I treat Yao Yao well, but do not extend the same attentiveness to you? Are you envious? Am I to be jealous of you? What a fanciful dream. I would rather you be utterly captivated by Yao Yao. Chun Ziki glared fiercely at Qin Lang, her demeanor akin to an irate little wildcat. Is everything truly all right this time? I have heard that the Mo family is enraged. Mo Bai was likely to become the next heir, and his mother is from the esteemed Zhao family, although you belong to the Qin family. Losing the only son's mother cannot be measured by ordinary standards. Chun Ziki felt a twinge of anxiety, and to prevent any misunderstanding from Qin Lang, she emphasized, I am concerned for Yao Yao. This has nothing to do with you. Everything has been arranged, so naturally, there will be no issues, whether concerning Yao Yao or you. There will always be someone keeping watch. Not only Yao Yao, but even you might inadvertently provoke the ire of the Mo family at that banquet. Qin Lang's gaze softened as he spoke gently. And what of me? What could possibly happen to me? I'm a public figure. No matter how furious the Mo family may be, could they possibly redirect their wrath toward an uninvolved individual like myself? Chun Ziki's seemingly incessant questioning belied a deep-seated, inexplicable feeling within her. From the moment I first heard Qin Lang assisting Chu Mengyao in arranging contingencies, a twinge of jealousy surged within me. Yet now, surprisingly, there lingers a faint sense of secret delight, though I am reluctant to express it. Oomph. Chun Ziki shot Qin Lang a glare, pointing towards the door. What are you still doing here? Hurry up and leave. In a CAF, within a secluded booth, over half an hour later, Zhou Ziqing finally spotted the returning duo and could not help but furrow his brow. Regardless of circumstances, you assured me that nothing would happen to Yao Yao. Should any misfortune befall her, I will not hesitate to hold you accountable. Chen Ziki van Kin Lang Stanli. With an eye roll, Qin Lang replied, I've repeated it countless times. I understand. Zhou Ziqing gently interjected, though the specifics of what transpired with Chu Mengyao remain unclear. We can trust that since Qin Lang has given his word, he will not go back on it. This should bring you some comfort, Miss Chun. Additionally, considering the elapsed time, I wonder how Lu Yin is faring? After all, she's a childhood friend. One cannot simply stand by and watch her be deceived by Qin Lang. A lesson should suffice. There is no need for permanent enmity or worse. Chun Ziki glanced at the work group, reasoning that based on your descriptions, Lu Yin should have been released after a brief inquiry and a reprimand, followed by a fine. Yet, it appears there has been an unforeseen complication. What sort of complication? I'm unsure of the specifics. My colleague rarely checks his phone while at work. He only learned of the situation upon making inquiries at the station. After a casual chat, Chun Ziki rose to leave the CAF. Chapter 384. To the Queen Bar upon exiting the CAF. Qin Lang and Zhou Ziqing made their way towards the parked Maybach at the roadside. Junzi stepped out to assist with the car door in one smooth motion. Where to? Qin Long inquired thoughtfully, glancing at Zhou Ziqing. To the Queen Bar. Seek out Xiao Jiuer. During the brief time you were in the restroom, she has already sensed your return. Just because I delayed my response by half an hour, she insists I was on a date with you. Zhou Ziqing lamented, cradling his forehead in exasperation. Who could have anticipated that Xiao Jiuer, the leader of the Black Dragon Society's Rose Hall and the undisputed queen of the underground world in Tianhai City, would possess such an astute intuition for gossip? Fearing that she might monopolize Qin Lang's time, Zhou Ziqing anticipated being subjected to Xiao Jiuer's disdain the next time they met. All right then, let's head to the Queen Bar, Junzi declared enthusiastically, pressing the accelerator as the Maybach glided smoothly away. Why the cheerful demeanor? Your smile is positively radiant. What delightful news do you have to share? Qin Lang queried, observing Junzi's beaming face in the rearview mirror. Junzi bashfully scratched the back of his head, sheepishly admitting, well, it's not exactly wonderful news. As you know, young master, my family was poor, which is why I enlisted. Although I learned a bit during my time in the military, it was all very specialized knowledge. I'm not well versed in the more general matters. I am an individual who is quite eager to learn. Once I acquire a fragment of knowledge, it brings me immense joy. Earlier, while you were preoccupied at the CF, I found myself idly wandering and decided to peruse a live stream. By mere chance, I stumbled upon an unfamiliar website and was captivated by a rather attractive female instructor. Consequently, I spent 30 yuan to enroll in a physics lesson. Goodness. Qin Lang's lips twitched. Junzi's gift for storytelling seemed to flourish with each passing moment. Were it not for his prior knowledge of the situation, he might have unwittingly believed Junzi's tall tales. Did you genuinely wish to pursue knowledge? It would be embarrassing to expose the truth. After all, it turned out that among the 2,000 naive souls behind Lu Yan's platform, Junzi was the sole representative. Fortunately, it was just him. Otherwise, this young master would have found it difficult to face others. My other subordinates are of the highest integrity. Noticing Zhou Ziqing's skeptical gaze beside him, Qin Lang felt compelled to clarify. Junzi's actions should not be taken as representative. His interest in such a website is purely a personal inclination, unlike the others who are decidedly different. Indeed, young master, everyone is eager to learn. As soon as I discovered this avenue for knowledge, I immediately screenshotted it and shared it with Lao Huang and the others. Whether from Tianhai City or Kulan, everyone has flocked to that site for learning. As the introducer, I even received 100 yuan as a referral fee. Altogether, it amounts to several thousand yuan. Junzi chuckled, scratching the back of his head, slightly embarrassed. He felt that if he were not a bodyguard, he would undoubtedly make a fine merchant. Must you speak incessantly? Qin Lang rolled his eyes. What are you learning, anyway? Do you realize that I was the one who provided that website? And do you know that the individual posting videos is a childhood friend of Ziqing? He feared that if he did not clarify this, Junzi would remain in the dark and potentially say something that might trouble Zhou Ziqing. Wait, that woman is Professor Zhou's childhood friend? Even the typically composed Junzi could not suppress a sharp intake of breath upon hearing this revelation. He abruptly halted the car, slapping his thigh in regret. What a disaster. I had no idea that the con artist was Professor Zhou's friend. After being duped out of 30 yuan, I was initially planning to recover my losses from other brothers, but instead, I inadvertently profited. However, this has incited the anger of my comrades, and one has already managed to uncover the con artist's details through various channels, which have been forwarded to the authorities. Based on the current information, it seems that this fraudster will not see the light of day for at least a decade or more. He no longer dared to jest. His spirits had sunk considerably. The situation had escalated dramatically. By inadvertently implicating Professor Zhou's childhood acquaintance, what if she whispered in the professor's ear? His position as a close bodyguard could be in jeopardy. The threads of the situation began to untangle in his mind. No wonder Chen Ziki mentioned an unexpected event. It turns out that the incident was orchestrated by Junzi and his associates. However, she couldn't help but wonder if Liu Yan had engaged in any illicit activities that warranted a sentence of 10 to 8 years. I'm uncertain whether I should disclose this. Junzi, appearing dejected, glanced at the young master through the rearview mirror, resembling a wilted eggplant. To be frank, Liu Yan and I are not as close as you might think, he remarked. Zhou Ziqing offered a soothing response. As the traffic light changed from red to green, the Maybach glided forward. Junzi continued, albeit hesitantly, that female con artist frequently used the pretext of introducing potential partners to wealthy middle-aged men, leading them to engage in illicit encounters. As her business grew increasingly risky and hectic, she ventured into the role of a facilitator, essentially becoming a madam. Recently, one of her subordinates got embroiled in a scandal involving a celebrity, which caused her to temper her operations for a while. Yet, not long after, she succumbed to gambling, accumulating a mountain of debt, and is now desperately seeking loans. She owes substantial amounts to both private lenders and banks, and has already been blacklisted. Such information could easily keep her incarcerated for a decade or more, perhaps even longer. Upon hearing this, Zhou Ziqing let out a slow sigh, never imagining that her childhood friend had fallen to such depths. It was once Liu Yan who had assisted her in finding suitors. Did this mean Liu Yan had projected her ulterior motives onto her? Forget it. This matter doesn't concern you greatly. Just focus on driving, Zhou Ziqing reassured Junzi, suggesting he not dwell on it too much. She had little regard for Liu Yan's fate, believing it to be a just outcome, merely accelerated by Qin Lang. It truly pains me to think I was deceived by such a woman. Qin Lang expressed his indignation. Why can't you all learn to view issues from a critical perspective like I do? Stop with the theatrics. It can only be said that those who are not of the same family do not enter the same door. Zhou Ziqing scolded Qin Lang lightly, pinching his nose. First, consider how to deal with Qiu Jiu later. It's been a long time since we last met, and I suspect she's about to create some trouble again. Fear not. To be candid, my ancestors were exorcists who safeguarded against evil. I can easily handle minor demons and spirits, Qin Lang said, his expression one of carefree amusement. However, we are now in the 21st century. We must trust in science. Rather than exorcising demons, I would prefer to engage in profound discussions with you, Professor Zhou, regarding scientific matters. Chapter 385. The father-in-law walks into the line of fire on the other side, at the Queen's Bar in Qiu Jiu's office. Fang Chunyin looked at her daughter with a bitter expression and sighed. Qiu, can you refrain from involving yourself in matters concerning the Black Dragon Society? Leave those affairs to the rough men working under your father. As a young woman, could you not embrace a more feminine demeanor? Why not enjoy normal activities like watching movies and traveling? By the way, why not invite Qin Xiao to join? Wouldn't that'd be delightful? Why spend all your time thinking about violence and conflict? Xiao Jia rolled her eyes, watching movies, traveling, and inviting Qin Lang along. That fellow is undoubtedly reveling in his time with Zhou Ziqing. Upon returning, he didn't seek her out, but instead rushed straight to Zhou Ziqing's side. How impatient can one be? The crux of the matter is that Zhou Ziqing, that woman, actually wishes to conceal the fact that Qin Lang is with her. Is it that Xiao Jiao has lost her resolve? Or has Zhou Ziqing become too brazen? Would it even be worthwhile to discuss this with her? Just a mere Rose Hall, growing increasingly audacious, daring to confront Lord Hong. I truly wonder who granted them such audacity. Xiao Long let out a cold snort, gazing at his daughter, finding her increasingly at odds with his expectations. The master of this Rose Hall appears to wield more influence than I, the president of the Black Dragon Society. President, have you grasped the situation? Was it I who clashed with Lord Hong? My Rose Hall remains law-abiding in Tianhai City, never overstepping its bounds. Yet what of Lord Hong's subordinates? They have encroached upon my territory, even selling goods within my Queen's bar. Isn't this a blatant affront? You expect me to stand idly by? Recently, the formidable Lord Hong has extended his business operations onto Black Dragon Society's territory. To avoid conflict, the Black Dragon Society has constantly yielded, only to embolden him further, allowing him to infringe upon Xiao Jiao's Rose Hall territory. With the Queen's bar also affected. Just days ago, upon receiving reports from her subordinates, Xiao Jiao promptly dispatched individuals to apprehend several of Lord Hong's men, administering a severe beating, leaving one with a severed arm, and sent him directly to the authorities. This has undoubtedly incurred Lord Hong's wrath. This is precisely why Qiu Long and Fang Chanhua have come to the Queen's bar, to persuade their daughter to cease her antagonism towards Lord Hong, lest she invite catastrophic trouble. Lord Hong is not merely a local figure. His influence pervades the entirety of Jiangnan County. He is an entity that the Black Dragon Society cannot withstand. Xiao Jiao's actions could very well bring about the downfall of the entire Black Dragon Society. Should such a situation arise again, allow me to handle it. The Black Dragon Society cannot tolerate such transgressions. I can negotiate with Lord Hong to prevent his men from selling goods in Tianhai City. As for other matters, as long as the opposing party does not overstep, it would be prudent to turn a blind eye. Xiao Long waved his hand, somewhat helpless. Power is paramount. Yielding is inevitable. I refuse, no matter how formidable Lord Hong may be. As long as he does not encroach upon my territory, I shan't even spare a glance in his direction. However, upon my grounds, he must adhere to the rules of my Rose Hall. Here, even Lord Hong cannot act recklessly. Xiao Jiao was already brimming with indignation. Now, faced with unjust reproach from her parents for actions she did not commit, her anger only intensified. What audacity! In a fit of fury, Qiu Long rose abruptly, striding to his desk, slamming his hand upon its surface, glaring at his daughter. You are increasingly insufferable. Given charge of the Rose Hall, you have become addicted to authority. Haven to you, your temper is even greater than mine. Over the years, I have observed that your efforts have been in vain. You fail to comprehend even the simplest of truths. When a fragile egg collides with a solid stone, the stone remains unscathed while the egg shatters into pieces. Do you truly believe you can rely on Qin Lang? Xiao Long, exasperated by his increasingly disobedient daughter, could not help but feel angered. As a man himself, he understood the subtle machinations of men. Moreover, consider the esteemed status and identity of Qin Lang. How could he possibly forsake an entire forest for the sake of a single tree, namely your interests? It has been quite some time, yet Qin Lang has not sought you out even once. How significant do you think your position is in his eyes? The individual backing Lord Hong undoubtedly wields immense power. Do you believe that Qin Lang would risk his standing to confront such formidable adversaries on your behalf? The higher one stands, the more one must consider one's reputation. Even the Qin family would never engage in reckless endeavors. They would never allow their offspring to offend enemies far more powerful than you, all for the sake of a mere Rose Hall leader. A woman can be replaced, but with the increase of enemies, one friend is lost. Xiao Long's words were like pearls of wisdom. There were certain matters he wished to leave unspoken. Yet if he did not address them now, his daughter would continue to follow her own heart, potentially leading to disastrous consequences. It was not far-fetched to think that war with Lord Hong could be a very real possibility. Who claims I am relying on Qinlang? I depend on myself. When have I ever stated that I must lean on him? His absence does not concern me, nor does his lack of assistance. Furthermore, remove your spies from my Rose Hall. If I catch anyone, they shall face the consequences according to our rules. Qiu Jiu'er was genuinely furious. She stood abruptly, facing Qiu Long, their gazes locked, their tempers flaring. In that moment, the father and daughter were at an impasse. Qiu Long did not wish for the Black Dragon Society to be torn apart under his watch, while Qiu Jiu'er was unwilling to acknowledge or accept any speculation regarding Qinlang's feelings for her. Enough, enough. We are all on the same side. Why must we let this escalate so? Jiu'er, temper your anger. Your father is merely concerned for your safety. Feng Chunhua gently consoled, her heart aching for her daughter. At the same time, she shot an exasperated glare at her husband. What nonsense are you spouting? Do you think everyone is like you? I find Qinlang quite admirable. He is not the type of person you describe. Qiu Long scoffed. What kind of man he is, you think you can discern that? Feng Chunhua retorted. You only dare speak so in front of us. Should you encounter Qinlang, you would surely adopt a different demeanor. What a farce. Since I, Qiu Long, entered society at the age of 19, I have faced countless challenges, from daring to confront adversaries alone to leading a dozen brothers through life and death, ultimately establishing the vast Black Dragon Society. What storms have I not weathered? Even when Lord Hong first arrived in Jiangnan County, he invited me to banquets, sharing drinks with his powerful associates, bestowing upon me due respect. Now that I have aged and settled down, I am to be so underestimated by you too? The aura surrounding Qiu Long surged, as if he had regained 30 years of youth, returning to his spirited days of yore. His voice grew increasingly fervent and impassioned. Not only was Qinlang absent, but even if he were present, Qiu Long would have dared to point a finger at him in accusation. How could he have entangled himself with my daughter and then vanish for so long? Does he truly hold me, Qiu Long, in such low regard? At that moment, a familiar voice resonated from the doorway of Qiu Jiu'er's office. Qiu Long turned around and was taken aback, nearly dropping his eyes in astonishment. Qin Xiao. Good heavens! Despite having entered society at 19, being known for his audacity, and even having shared drinks with Lord Hong, Qiu Long found himself utterly bewildered by this unexpected encounter with Qinlang at such an exuberant moment. He stood there dumbfounded, after such a prolonged absence. He just happened to appear today, coincidentally right as Qiu Long was about to utter a phrase that would surely offend him. Had he foreseen the stroke of luck, he would have thought better than to engage in violence or establish the Black Dragon Society. He might as well have bought a lottery ticket. As if on cue, Qinlang arrived just as Qiu Long had been speaking. Feng Chunyan, upon seeing Qinlang, exhibited little shock. Instead, she wore a smile and nudged her partner with her elbow, gesturing towards Qinlang. The implication was clear. It was time to confront him. After all, having spoken the words, one must follow through, right? With Qinlang present, what was Qiu Long still doing standing there in a daze? Feng Chunyan pushed him again. At that moment, the president of the Black Dragon Society turned to Feng Chunyan, lips pursed, bearing a distinctly constipated expression. Advancing forward was not an option, nor could he retreat and look back. He was caught in a taut web of indecision. The memory of his last meeting with Qinlang, where his adversary had been shot in the head, remained vividly etched in his mind. If this affluent scion were to take offense at his words, would he not be similarly undone? A chill ran down his spine as he glanced at his daughter, shedding the demeanor of the Black Dragon Society's president and adopting the guise of a worried father. Enough. If you're coming in, then come. If you're leaving, then leave. What do you mean by standing there motionless? Are you trying to intimidate someone? After all, he was still my father. If he truly frightened him, I would have to care for him in the hospital. Qiu Jiu'er sank back into her chair and, with irritation, muttered a few complaints about Qinlang before turning her gaze away, uninterested in this individual. Did he think he could come and go as he pleased, disregarding her for such an extended period? She had her pride, after all. How could she be so easily manipulated? She would let him linger for now and decide her next move if he truly intended to leave. How could that be? You see, Jiu'er, I heard your father was going to scold me, so I hesitated to approach him, he retorted. Do you think I am incapable of discerning the gravity of the situation? Uncle, he is your father. Given our relationship, if it continues to develop, there will come a day when I must follow behind you and call out. Won't there? How could I possibly engage in such disrespectful behavior toward my elders? Qinlang explained with a bitter smile, stepping forward to offer a cigarette to his affordable father-in-law and assisting him in lighting it. With a cough, Qiu Long trembled, nearly dropping the cigarette between his fingers. Uncle. Aunt, there's no need for such formality between us. Just call me Xiaoqin. Otherwise, if Jior sees us, she might think I'm trying to put on airs. During this period, I truly have had matters to attend to. It's not that I haven't wanted to see Jior, but rather that I couldn't. I've been abroad, and circumstances have bound me. Aunt has never complained about you. Fang Chuanya, the mother-in-law, observed her son-in-law with increasing fondness. Men, when busy, should be busy without needing to consider so much. After all, wasn't he also out and about all day back in the day? Casting a glance